everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host, Superman, in the house for another day. Well, you know, we had greener candles today, on well, at least over the weekend for the crypto market. A little bit of volatility up and down at the moment, but otherwise pretty green. We had the stock market open up last night, and some of the key digital asset treasuries, Strategy and Bitmine, reported their results along with Strive, and it was all bullish. It was all bullish. And then we had some more announcements today around Strategy and the stretch vote, and that has been done and dusted, so we're going to check that out later on. But we've got a huge lineup. We've got big update, a big week for Ondo and for LibertySwap with their big launches of perpetuals and outcome prediction markets. It's going to be quite a week, guys. And then at the end of the week, of course, we've got SpaceX. We've got inflation CPI on Wednesday. It is chock full this week. It's going to be a very interesting week for value. So let's get into all of that. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to follow, and don't forget to repost the show on X. And also at the end, we're going to cover the monster thread. So this could end up being quite a big show. We'll see how we get on. But I hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to kick it off with the stock market, of course, and see where we're at with the results on Monday overall. And then we're going to kick it into all the crypto news, which is pretty massive. So let's do it. Last week's carnage, this week uncertainty, but opportunity and a lot of value being rolled out. And then who knows where we go from then after Friday with SpaceX. So we'll talk all about all that. All right, let's kick it off into the I don't know what happened to the stock market there. US stocks futures fall as Israel-Iran de-escalation. Obviously, they have done the ceasefire after Trump has requested them both to stand down. We've got the Dow Jones there is down 0.16%, 80 points to 7. On here. Yeah, so there we go. We're at 2.28. Just a little bit of pullback after that move last night. We got Bitcoin down 0.5% on the 24 hours. So it was sitting up pretty nicely, heading towards 64,000. We're at 62,700 right now. Still down 12% for the week, but not 17, 18% like it was. So we're still down a little bit here at 62,700. The Ethereum at number 2 is down 0.7%, 16.3% for the week. I think we were down about 22%, I think, yesterday, wasn't it? Or the day before. And we're now, maybe 2 to 3 days ago. And now we're at $1,670 on Ethereum. We had popped over 1,700. We'll check that out in the ETH chart later on. BNB at number 4, down 0.8%, 13.7% for the week, sitting at $597, just below 600. XRP at number 6, up 0.5%, so nice there. Still down 10.4% for the week, sitting at $1.15. Solana is actually up 0.1%, down 18.5% for the week. So that's the worst so far out of the top 10. That is at $65.87. Tron there is down 0.1%, only down 5.1% for the week, sitting at 32.6 cents, finding number 10. The big star these days, Hyperliquid, that is up 4.5%, but still down 16% for the week at $62.50. So that is the big deal there. But they are continuing, Hyperliquid's continuing to expand their perpetual volumes every single month since October 25. So, they're still expanding and doing extremely well. And of course, they were a big beneficiary of the Iranian conflict when traditional banks and that couldn't really cover their risk positions during the weekend because they don't trade. And so they had to use Hyperliquid markets. So that was a big catalyst for them. So that's pretty much where we are in the top 10. Let's look at the top 100 over the last 24 hours. We got Beat still doing pretty well, 12.6%. Dexy up 11%. Zcash up 4.8%. So Dexy and Zcash, both of them had some issues. There was obviously a bit of a bug that got fixed early on for Zcash following AI an evaluation. And then Dexy has also had a little bit of issues there as well in the past. I just can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's also been in place. Midnight or Night up 4.8% for the week, and XDC up 4.7%. So a few new players there in the top 5. Top 100, top 5 over the week for the top 100. We got Beat once again as number 1, 278%, pretty amazing. And of course, that's doing the old AI, isn't it? I think there's AI there. Yep. Siren also AI up 98%, so the AI theme's still doing pretty well. Binance Life up 21%, Dexy up 18.8%, and WorldCoin with the digital ID is up 12.7%. So AI and digital ID leading the pack in the top 100. Again, a few little movements, but other than that. In top 1,000, we've got Movement up 51%, Show up 57%, and Pippin up 20%. I could tell you a little story about Pippin, but it would be too abstract, so it probably wouldn't be that relevant. Trending, we got Humanity down 85%, so that's digital ID. I'm not sure why that's drifted back so much. Probably the run-up was mega huge, right? So maybe that's just what's happened there. Big seller. Ex Maquina is up 33%, and Pudgy Penguins up down 2.1. Those are trending on CoinGecko right now. All right, so let's jump away and zoom in on the old Bitcoin and see how that's performing. Well, I thought I had the full chart up, but didn't have it quite set up properly. We're moving along here. Don't forget, if you're on X, don't forget to hit the repost on the X post there. So share the channel around to your followers. So here's on the hourly on Bitcoin. You can see we have a nice little recovery here on the hourly. We got the low back here on 59,000, right? So on the 5th Friday, the 5th of June at 7 o'clock, we had the bottom, sort of chugged along a bit, and then we started zigzagging back up. We got all the way up to 64,225. We got rejected there twice as well on the way. And then we've come down at the moment. We've still got a higher low, so we're still intact. And we have just bounced off 62,400. We're at 62,782. So let's see whether we can continue on. As you guys know, we really want to start heading up to 66 to 68, right? That's our kind of all our moving averages on different time frames converging. You can see the hourly one here is at 65. Let's go to the 4 hourly quickly, just to get wider time frames. We've got the 54 hour there at 64. Let's just say 65. So 65 on both time frames, very important. Let's go to the daily. Here's the daily time. So we've got the 50 moving average at 72. There's a daily 72,500. So way ahead there. And on the old weekly, we have got the 200 weekly average at 68,800. So if we take those really short time frames, we take the long one with the weekly 65 to 68,800. It's kind of that the zone that we have to punch through, I guess. But we're at 62,740, 62,750 now off the bottom there. Is it over? Is the bottom in at 59? Certainly it bounced off the power law floor, and so hopefully that's it for the time. Let's have a look at the longer arrangement there. So most people are saying the 4-year cycle played out. and we're down 53%. So we've also been down 52 and 53%. Is it over, or is there a move to 53 or even 40, which would break the power law model quite severely there, and drag that model, drag the the extremes out, right? I think it's at 3 sigma, so yeah, it could be quite dire. But at the moment, we're feeling pretty bullish. Now, so this is where the market is now. So that we can always go down potentially, but have a 70% correction. But we have hyper bullish things, fundamentals happening, and I'm going to go through that for the rest of the video. So let's go through that. That is the Bitcoin. And of course, one more time, let's look at the monthly, at the very long term view there. We're only just below the monthly, which is at 66, which lines up with that 65, 66, 68 on the different time frames. So we've got to sort of punch through that 65 to 69K area and take off on all those time frames, and we're back up. The other time, we really haven't spent that much time below the 15-month moving average. So at the moment, this has got to be a friendly DCA entry, and of course, supported by the power law floor as well. So that gives us some support ideas, but really it's the fundamentals we're looking to carry from those movements as well, and that should give us a more probable upside. So let's go have a look at those, because we had big announcements overnight. And I covered those on X. I thought I'd delve into that a little bit there, just to broaden the horizons. We got breaking news strategy, MSTR, and Stretch. Remember, strategy, common stock. This is where all the Bitcoin's held, is MSTR. And then we've got Stretch. Stretch, of course, is the preferred stock, and that is targeting the debt market, raising money from the debt market and buying Bitcoin with it and putting it in MSTR, right? That's how it works. Strive is an up-and-comer. It's sitting at number 7 in the digital asset treasuries, and it is offering 13% compared to strategy, Stretch offering 11.5%, right? So the preferred stock there is SATA, and that is buying Bitcoin and putting an assist, and they're sitting at 19,000 now. So let's check out this. So strategy has acquired 1,550 Bitcoin for 101 million. So that's to increase the BTC reserve to 845,256. So remember the drama last week or so, ago, they sold 32 Bitcoin. Many of people see that as a major catalyst for selling, along obviously with SpaceX and the AI capital, vortex. And so that was kind of tested. The timing was probably unfortunate, but it was also potentially timed well as well, because we're moving. What I'm about to talk about next with the changes to the Stretch product could be hyper bullish, and this is mega bullish. This is not a small thing. This is something that's very real and very quick. Happens very quick. So strategy has acquired 1,550 Bitcoin. They sold 32. So this is what 40 something times or something it is, the amount of Bitcoin. We have also increased their USD reserve by 100 million to 1 billion. Obviously, they can cover dividends and things like that with that, right? So that's kind of cool. Strive acquired an additional 30, and this is the other company, Strive, which is sitting at number 7 on the digital asset treasury. Strive acquired an additional 32 Bitcoin for 2.1 million, as well as an average cost of 64,000 Bitcoin, all bought with equity, right? So this equity side of things, total Bitcoin now 19,032, and that's from Matt Cole, right? Matt Cole there is the CEO and chair of Strive. So pretty cool. All right, so we can see some of those little promos from them. You can see that there, pretty good. They're now worth $1.1 billion when they posted this. Very cool, very cool. And I think they got that all for, they're saying indicating 60,000. So there we go. That was Strive. So digital asset treasuries are playing their role. We had the ETFs, suck a whole ton of capital out for about 2 weeks. We've seen a little bit of green candles on some of the ETFs. We'll see how they go this week, obviously with the SpaceX and everything. But the digital asset treasuries are accumulating in any respect. Now, the big thing that we're seeing, the mega trend, of course, is this distribution. So we're seeing the swapping of Bitcoin held by individuals for all these last, 17 years. We're seeing all this individual Bitcoin being slowly sold to the corporates and institutions, which include the digital asset treasuries and the ETFs categories as well. And that's going to take time, right? So a lot of stuff we see is sold by individuals. We've seen some very well-known individuals sell their Bitcoin, right? They pretty much exist, some very well-known people. And so, now we've got this redistribution going on. But I think the amount of Bitcoin is going to be sucked out. We have seen over the last 18 months that on average, the total amount of Bitcoin on exchanges dropped massively. I think 750,000 or more. So it is happening, guys. It is happening, and we're going to keep watching those moving averages for the exchange levels, etc. So a lot of things happening, but now I think it's about to really step up. And I've been talking about this. June was always going to be a trouble month, kind of the transition month. We had a couple of good months in the beginning of the year. So we had May, April, and March being extremely exciting for these preferred stocks and the targeting the debt market buying Bitcoin. We've obviously have the volatility right now, and now we've got that's still going to play out in June, and then we've got July looking potentially extremely exciting. But actually, it's probably going to be even June from the debt market point of view is going to be very exciting too. The only problem that we have is we have these IPOs on the stock market, which are raising capital floats of $70-80 billion for quite a few of them, probably 3 or 4 of them at least. So we've got to see how that affects the rest of the markets. But that is pretty cool. So great news there, and that lifted the price of the products, right? So Stretch here, this is the preferred stock that raises the debt market. It has to get over $100. So $100 is all the way up here, right? So $100 is back up here. Price has to get back up here before Friday, right? Friday is ex-dividend day. So we've got Tuesday, Wednesday is the 10th, 11th, 12th. So Monday is the ex-dividend day. So we pretty much got to get this back up to $100 by Thursday, Friday. So, reasonably, we could expect this to head up again, all things equal, as long as we don't have another, flash crash or something, that we're on the way back up, and we have to close that gap, right? And that gap, once we get to $100, that when they can start issuing more Stretch shares and raising capital and buying more Bitcoin. Now, the question is, are we going to get to Thursday and we're back at 100, and then we've got Thursday, Friday that is raising about $1 billion a day on both days? That would be $2 billion. That would get us pretty similar to what we had in May, and therefore, what do they buy in May? About 25,000 Bitcoin. Now, let's think about that size of that Bitcoin purchase. It's a lot. So 25,000, and that helps a lot. Now, the big thing, of course, this is the last monthly dividend. So the X going to go ex-dividend 15th on Monday. It's the last monthly payment. So the payment for the dividend is going to be the 30th of the end of this month, end of June. But then, of course, we've got good news following that. So I'm going to flow into that. So this is good news. If we can get back to 100 by Thursday, mint a couple $2 billion Thursday, Friday, and then if we can do that and then get Bitcoin at much cheaper prices, at the 63K mark, it's going to be buying up even more Bitcoin. There'll be at least several 1,000 more. Let's see where we go. So could be a big week, guys. And this is at the same time that SpaceX IPO is launching. But remember, this is 2 different markets. This is the debt market as opposed to the equity market where SpaceX is launching, right? So it's a very clever play. Remember, the debt market's about 300 trillion or so, and that's just ticking over all the time, right? Ticking over all the time. So pretty cool. Now, with the equity markets, obviously, we've got these big IPOs. Obviously, SpaceX is up first. There is about $7 trillion sitting on the sidelines. Obviously, there's a lot of capital in the stock market. And, of course, some of the leading ones may get shaved off a bit of value, a bit of profit to go into SpaceX. So that could still have that vortex. We'll see whether it affects crypto, how much it affects crypto this week as well. It's obviously going to have some impact, but, we'll see whether the worst is over for crypto or whether we've got another week where we could potentially go down heading into Friday. And if that does occur, that would really push all our models, etc., everything else. So let's see how we go. It's going to be interesting. But this is positive. This is hyper positive. Regardless, it is very cool. Now, the other big thing, of course, Michael Saylor came in with some very good news. And this is the one here, right? So Stretch and MSTR. So remember, Stretch is the preferred equity and MSTR is the common stock. Shareholders have approved the amendment to move Stretch dividends from monthly to semi-monthly. So now these dividends are going from to every 2 weeks now, which is fantastic. So there's 2 record dates. This is hyper good because it means that there'll be less down days and that these products are arguably going to be at $100. And and therefore they'll be paying out twice a week, and therefore we have more frequency. Arguably, we could have more capital raised from the debt market and buy even more Bitcoin, depending on where the Bitcoin price is, of course. But at the moment, it's obviously pulled back a bit. So yeah, it's exciting times. So first record date is the 30th of June, and the first payment date is the 15th of July. So obviously we've got the last monthly one on Monday. That's going to be hyper bullish. We could raise a couple billion. Let's see what happens on Thursday, Friday. Obviously, we've had the shock of last week. We're obviously not at $100 right now. We've got Wednesday and then Thursday to go. So it is cutting it close. It's still obviously Monday in America, so we've still got 2 more days to get back to that 100 and see whether we can start raising billions of dollars this week from the debt markets to pump Bitcoin at a time where Bitcoin needs it, right? Needs it big time. And all that Bitcoin won't see the light of the day, arguably, because it will just be part of a strategy, a digital asset treasury. Obviously, they now do a little bit of selling for tax advantages and things like that, just to show everybody that actually the Bitcoin is actually worth a lot of money as well. There's this argument about never selling, means that the Bitcoins were not worth anything on the balance sheet. So there's all these other different arguments that go with that. So there we go. That is the play there. Thank you to every shareholder who voted, says Michael Saylor. So this is hyper bullish news, and we're going to give that a clap because it's a big deal. Yeah. Thinking of a big deal, we've got Craig Pitt in the house there. Morning all. Good to see you, Craig. Always a pleasure. And we've got Orez as well in the house there with the fires. I liking it, Orez. Welcome to the chat and the show again. Kind of cool. Now, if you guys are loving the content, smash the repost on X and share the show around. That's all we say. All right, let's get into it. So that is hyper bullish news, guys. Very, very cool indeed. All right. So you can see that, the price is down, but the digital asset treasuries are ramping up and harvesting the debt market. Buying Bitcoin is the show there. We're going to see the biggest test this week because obviously we get back to 100 after last week's shock. And of course, remember, these stretch products are backed by Bitcoin collateral in the sense that that is what's the perceived value sitting behind the collateral, right? So very, very important. Remember, they're preferred stocks, so they get the highest ranking on creditors. So that is the play right now, and let's watch it. Let's go. All right, so we've got Ethereum at the moment. Ethereum is at 1669. It is bouncing off the hourly 50 moving average there at 1660. Kind of cool, and it's obviously got similar type of markup there. We saw the bottom here when we saw similar to Bitcoin. We saw the bottom at $1,505. Can you believe it? So we did get down to that next level from the 1,700-1,800 mark, and we got down to the very bottom of the other next level, the $1,500 mark. We certainly don't want to go to the 12 to 1,300 if we can help it. So fingers crossed, fingers crossed there. Why? Because Ethereum's the future of money, right? It's probably most likely the payment rail. And if Tom Lee gets his way, and he's working towards that, and of course it's got all the big mega themes of tokenization, stablecoins, and AI agents, right, and AI payment systems. So bring it on, bring it on. All right, so $1,671 right now on the price. Now, after this big sell-off, if this is the bottom, then is it game on from here? Are we going to get a hyper rally into the end of the year with some volatility, of course? Are we going to get that big move over the next 18 to 20 months, 24 months? Because this is what happens in crypto, right? This is what happens when we get these final events for the bottom and move into crypto spring, crypto summer, right? Let's look at the 4 hourlies. Let's go from there. Remember, this is the same feeling. So whenever we had this big sell-off, it's always the same feeling that we had in previous sell-offs, right? The market was like doom and gloom, right? You know, it's like anyone comes out, there's nasty people out there going, blah, blah, this is the end, it's dumping, that's never going to have thing. And then next minute, it's up in euphoria, and they all missed out because they sold, remember? And then they missed out on the whole thing, and then they come back around when everyone else is still holding and making mad gains. So just remember that it's a very, very psychological game with these boom and bust cycles. But the fundamentals have never looked better for crypto, never looked better. So kind of cool. Let's go here, 1671 right now in the play. So, yeah, we are climbing up here. We've got the 4 hourly there sitting on the 50 moving average at 1745. So we got up to 1718 not too long ago there. So let's see how we go. So that's the next target, 1740. Let's just say 1750. Get over that would be quite cool in the 4 hourly. That's the trading view, right? The 4 hours. Let's get to the daily though. Daily is a bit higher at 2042. So obviously getting over 2K is very, very important there. And we got the 200 moving average in orange up at 2433. So that's come down obviously. So let's see what we can do so we can get back up there. And of course, Ethereum will benefit off the back of Bitcoin, right? Because they're all got that reflexivity, Hart's law, all that sort of stuff in there. All the pools are tied up, kind of thing. Not not completely, but you get my point. That is on the move there. Let's go to the further view here for the weekly. Weekly at the moment. Obviously, we're coming up to this death cross on the weekly. We've got 2,600 on the 50 moving average in yellow. We've got 2,524 on the 200 moving average here. This, if it does cross, it's probably going to be short-lived. So let's see. But if it does cross, then that does give a bit of a one of the variables one might think towards a move even down further, right? So fingers crossed that doesn't happen because the fundamentals are too good. And hopefully it's Bitcoin's debt market harvesting that helps keep the rest of the market up, as well as a re-inflow from the ETFs following maybe SpaceX launch. So the next few weeks are definitely challenging, particularly, remember, after the SpaceX launches on the 12th, it was about 15 days before it gets in the indexes and it gets all that capital coming from all the ETFs and institutions. I mean, there's thousands of them that will pile in hundreds of billions of dollars into SpaceX, right? It's going to be very, very interesting to see that whole play out, and that's coming into the beginning of July. So even after SpaceX launches on 12th, it's not over until till at least July, when we see the impact of these buyers and relative to the early SpaceX investors that are able to leave. They're not on the executive, right? So we'll see how that goes. They're going to get insta rich. So there we go. Let's see how that goes. So 1668 is where we are. Let's have a look at the monthly, because we did that for Bitcoin. Well, obviously, we've been rejected at 5K. Every time we've been under the moving average for 50-day, it's been for a period of time. I guess this was quite a lot of period in 22, 23, but it's actually been pretty brief recently. This is kind of a more comparable zone to what we had back in 22 here between June 22 and January. And that was about 7 months. So we're about let's say 6 months here. So is June the end, July the end, and then take off? I'm very bullish about July, regardless of the SpaceX there. So is that the beginning of the takeoff here? And that means it's easy money in the old Ethereum there with all the mega themes. Things are different, obviously, moving forward here. And we've still got that institutional play buying the individual Ethereum, just like Bitcoin. And therefore, there's some easy money, at least back to 5K. But of course, if all these mega themes are playing off the future of finance on Ethereum, then break to 5K and we're on the way up to something special, something new. 5 years of accumulation and game on. So that's what we're expecting over the next 24 months. In particular, in 6 month increments could be very exciting. And then of course there's a medium play up even higher. Maybe to this, medium 5 to 10 years up to 60 to 250K. Ethereum is the top end of that. That one might reasonably expect if we get re-rated as a payment rail, if that is successfully transitioned to the future of finance on the old Ethereum chain, and mass adoption too. So that goes hand in hand there. So that's the play. You just got to be patient, of course. If you're trading and you're impatient and you're going to go, no, we're never going to do it. Well, that's a very trader view, and it means that 95% of traders fail too. So you're one of those bad traders, right? So if you're one of the 5%, you might be pretty good. And some say it's even smaller. Maybe 2% of traders are any good at making money trading. So alternative is just investing, right, and holding through the ups and downs. All right, so that is the Ethereum right now. Let's jump into the good news for Ethereum too. Bitmine Immersion, over the last week, they acquired 127,000 ETH. And because they had to, right? Because the Ethereum price pulled back. They were sitting on $440 million of cash. And so they had to buy. It was too much to resist. Remember, as Tom Lee, that's saying that the crypto winter's over and the spring is in. And of course, he's been probably a week wrong. I think it was pretty close, but maybe a week, maybe even 2 weeks. You could say he was bummed, but it's not too bad. I mean, let's not be too hard. So yeah, he acquired 127,000 ETH. So pretty crazy there. Pretty awesome. So the company is now sitting on 5.5 million ETH. So this had a bit of flack on Bitmine. Obviously, the unrealized losses for Strategy and Bitmine are pretty huge, but they're unrealized, right? And the digital asset treasuries, they move around with the price of ETH and with the price of Bitcoin. So there's no surprise there. I always find it weird that people do that. Now, if it lost like 90% of the value, I think that would have a big impact potentially on the collateralization side of things. but here and there with the volatility at the moment, not a big deal from my point of view. It would have to be, get down to that 90, 85, 90%, somewhere in that ballpark to, cause calamity there. And so, yeah, that's good news. All right, so kind of cool. I think the average for the Ethereum purchase is somewhere like 3,400, 3,500. I think is the mark here on the average price. Whereas the strategy one, the average is let me think. The average is 70, 75, something like that. I think 75. So here we go. So that's pretty awesome, right? They also have 180 million stake in Mr. Beast. I think that might be an error there. It's a $200 million play. It's been every week, so there might be an error there. I'm not sure why they changed that. 88 million stake in ALGO, which is this is the moonshots. This is access to WorldCoin and OpenAI. So this is potential upshot there, but also the part of the puzzle for mass adoption on Ethereum and movement of finance. So Tom Lee's up to he's being the major he is kind of the leading the game. He's the game maker. He's doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So we're going to watch that. Hopefully we get some of the fruits of that by the end of this year. Q4 is kind of the timing I'm thinking. And then, of course, we are expecting OpenAI IPO potentially by the end of the year, if not slightly earlier, because they're all trying to race to get to the market earlier, right? But the end of the year was the expectation there. But like I say, there's competition on. And they still have total cash of 247 million. So they had 440 million. They're 247. So I think they raised a little bit of common stock because the MNAV was slightly over one a bit. So I think it was about $15 million, and the rest was just cash that they used to buy all this beautiful Ethereum. And what a great buy that was. Woohoo! Moving them up to 5,543,000. Now remember, their target is 5%, right? The 5% alchemy of Ethereum, and that's basically 6,034,000 ETH, right? 6,043,000. So they're already only need about 500,000 ETH is to get to their 5%. That could potentially be hyper bullish for the value, because once they stop buying, they basically stop raising capital from common stock. It's pretty much settled, right? And so the market could re-rate just on that fact alone, right? And so that could come up. Now, I worked out yesterday in cash, they've got the 247 million cash, and they're going to be raising some debt market capital at a 9.5% yield on the 10th. So that's in 2 days' time, US time. They're going to get net proceeds of about 287 million, and that's effectively going to give them $287 million extra. So you got over, probably said about $530 million or so. That will mean that all they will need after that in terms of cash to get up to the 6 million, if they were to spend it all on ETH, is another $300 million. That's all they need by the end of the year. And Tom Lee's kind of good at the stuff. So, and prices could be re-rated. Could be much easier to raise capital. They could do that. Now they did change their terms, so they increased shares from 3 million to 3.5. And they also lowered the price from $100 to $80. A little controversial there, but Ethereum just capitulated, so it was probably a bit friendly there. So they raised essentially raised their capital. So a little bit controversial, but they're getting in the end. And some of that's going to be used for operational costs and staff and stuff. They've only got a small team, as I understand it, 12, 13 people or something. But that is the play. That is the play. So, hyper bullish. They're not far away from getting to the 5%, and that's bullish, mate. That is really good. Now, the question is, he's talked about this recently, is he going to go to 10 or 12%, which is kind of the max network effect impact of a DAT, right? So we'll see whether he decides to do that in the future. But I suggest to you that at the moment, it's very clearly he's just going to 5% at the moment, I think, is the play. And they're playing out the bigger game, which is building on top of Ethereum with their Maven staking, with their payment rails, and they're dealing with a number of institutions to make that all happen. We all know a lot of those key players. Obviously, Kathy Wood's in there as well with ARK Investments, and we know that they're making another key plays there with a lot of organizations to make this happen. And they're bringing in AI, they're bringing in digital ID, they're bringing in apps to and mass adoption, right? So just keep a lookout for those themes. They're coming up. And they're the ones you have to be patient for, right? It's not just a pump and dump day, it is really an investment horizon that you're thinking about. So they now hold 4.6% pretty much of the ETH supply of 120.7 million ETH. Isn't that amazing? Pretty cool. Now I'm going to go past all this update here. I want to get to the key mark here. So I'm going to go past that. We've already talked about that. So Bitmine has staked. So they're also staked 4.7 million. Now we know that there's 3 million ETH at the moment in the staking queue. It takes about 55, 60 days to get through. We know there's only a small fraction of ETH coming out of the staking queue. So ETH is being staked, and I think it's about 32.5% of all ETH is staked now. So this is a very long-term bullish view on ETH. Exciting times. It really is just everything is heading in the right direction there, and we're having an explosion of DeFi, which is sinking a lot more ETH, and that's going to accelerate moving forward. So the ETH supply will get lower. We know markets can move when any key player puts stuff on exchanges and sells it down. That's why you see the market move, right? And there's a lot of variables in there, like the open interest and everything else that goes in there. Market maker players. We're getting a lot of institutions now, so they play the institution game. There's lots of different variables on the move right now. So Bitmine total staked ETH stands at 4.7 million. Remember, they've got 5.5, so they've still got another 720,000 ETH that they haven't staked yet. I don't know why. Is it because they're going to be putting some of it into a retail sell play? We'll see. Are they going to stake it all, or are they going to keep some for other products? Let's see what happens. These guys are up to something. So we'll see what happens with that staking amount. Obviously, a full staking amount just lifts their revenue massively, and they can use that revenue to support a lot of products. Obviously, with the debt at the moment, they have to pay about $30 million, so they can use staking for that too, right? It's only about 10% of the value at the current price of Ethereum. So Bitmine has staked more ETH than any other entities in the world at scale when Bitmine's ETH is fully staked by Maven and its staking partners. So they're kind of giving us a clue that they will probably go full staking. The projected ETH staking reward is 270 million on an annualized basis using 3% 7-day BMNR yield. Annualized staking revenues are now projected at 230 million, and the 4.7 million ETH is over 85% of the 5.54 million ETH held by Bitmine. Bitmine's own staking operations generated a yield of close to 3% there. So pretty bullish, right? Pretty bullish there. So that is some of the cool stuff there. And of course, they got their debt raising in 2 days' time, and that's another 287 million net to the coffers, adding to their already 242 million. And like I say, after that, they would only arguably need about 300 million plus a bit of money for their operations, and that would get them to the 5% alchemy. So I think the roadmap's looking pretty confident for that. And then on top, they're going to build on finance and mass adoption on top of that as part of the business model, and bring the future of finance and money to Ethereum. Very exciting. So keep watching. That's it's like a story. It's going to continue to unravel, but the foundation is being laid, is almost there, right? Is almost there, that 5% alchemy. All right, let's get into some of the bullish things that are happening on Ethereum, of course. The future of finance, well, you've got stable coins, boom. You got, what's that, about $340 billion worth of stable coins now. You got the tokenization boom, what's it, about $35 billion. That's about to explode to another level this month and next month because there's a number of big products being launched. And of course, we've got property coming out now, a big player. We've got more big players coming in to the prediction and perpetuals and other products related to high volume trading. They're all coming out with AI solutions as well. And then we've got the AI story, right, coming on. Those three major catalysts, and there's many others like creative payments and stuff as well. But one of the big players is Ondo Finance. Now, depending on how you measure it, they are at least 0.25% of the tokenization, and on some variables they're 2/3. But there is more players in the market. But Ondo is about to make some big moves, right? So they have already announced, in addition to X stocks, we talked about that yesterday. X stocks, of course, allowing you to trade SpaceX with SpaceX X, right? Ondo has also just announced that too overnight. So it's going to be SPCX on. So unlike X stocks with Kraken exchange, it's going to be SPCX on, and of course on is on everything tokenized for the Ondo Finance, representing Ondo, but they're going to be trading that immediately. Isn't this a game changer? Think about this. You don't need a broker now. You're going to be able to buy and sell SpaceX, get your own piece of SpaceX, and of course, arguably could be the most valuable company in the future. And of course, that's based a lot around the communications and satellites. and their data network they're going to put in space, right? The compute power in space. And so that's pretty exciting. And of course, the addressable market that they have in the IPO is about 28.5 trillion, and they're going to the market at about 1.8 trillion. So we're going to see how that plays out, and then 2 weeks after, they're going to be in the indexes, get a whole ton of hundreds of billions of dollars potentially supporting their price, and so we'll see where it all heads. It's going to be fun, and of course, they've incorporated a lot of AI into their operations, so it's going to see that unroll as well. So pretty cool. And we may see a Tesla merger too, which is already in the Magnificent Seven. So we'll watch out for that. I think Tesla's about 1.5 trillion, something like that. And what Nvidia's the richest company in the world at the moment, about 5.5 trillion. Is SpaceX going to go to the 12 to 14 trillion dollar mark, which some people will put a price tag in the future, with addressable market of 28.5? It could just keep going up. This is going to be pretty exciting where this all heads, right? So the big deal is you're going to be able to trade this. You're going to be able to hold it in your wallet. You can have a bit of SpaceX in your decentralized wallet. Isn't that cool? I think that's pretty badass, and it's just the beginning of all these things, right? So kind of cool. Now they're also Ondo Finance is also going to be launching. Not only is that going to be available on Friday when SpaceX goes live, but you're also going to be they're also launching their perpetual market, right? With some pretty cool innovations around that too. So that's this week. In fact, it says in the next 24 hours, I think. So let me just find this here. Yeah, Ondo Perpetuals. So Ondo Perpetuals will be competing with the likes of Hyperliquid, with the likes of Light, right? So offering you those perpetuals. And of course, we're going to have our very own perpetuals based on Hyperliquid coming in July with LibertySwap, which we'll talk about later on. But this is pretty bullish, right? Pretty bullish. Leverage the world tomorrow. Can you feel the hype? Can you feel the hype? So pretty exciting here from Ondos. Now, Ondos has also talked about, and I haven't talked about this before, but Ondos has also talked about doing their own chain. So if you create value in the DeFi space like this, with these high revenue markets, what's going to happen to when they come up with the chain? The hype in crypto could get re-rated even more. So keep a look out for that. So that's coming out at the moment. So they're going to be launching this. Tokenization is redefined by the way that world trades soon. Tokenized stocks, which is what they do already, right? They do a couple hundred tokenized stocks. Will be usable as collateral. You're able to use those tokenized assets that you bought on stock market, like Nvidia, as collateral, and then you're going to be able to trade them 24/7 as perpetuals. So you'll be able to do up to 20x leverage, and that means APPL or all and more. So you'll be able to do commodities. It's going to be the next level. So you can see it's boom time in crypto, particularly on Ethereum, base chain, and a few others that are benefiting from Ondo. It's going to be pretty insane. BNB chain, it's pretty neat. So, and the fact that you can hold these in your wallets, and if you like to, speculate with leverage, you'll be able to do that on Ondo. Very cool. So, a bit of challenge to Hyperliquid and others, but this is what we're going to have. We're going to have a couple key, probably, I don't know where it's going to be like an oligopoly, but we're going to have a couple of key players, and it's going to be fun to see. All right, so that is coming. Chitting down, and that's the 10th, I think. Yeah, the 9th. So that's coming up within the next 24 hours, essentially the launch. So keep a lookout for that. Big deal. And Ondo is trading. I think they're ranked about number 40 or something, 43 on CoinGecko. But watch this one fly. Hyperliquid just came into number 10, right? Moving Dogecoin down. Where's Ondo going to end up, right? That's the sort of things you're looking out for. So we know the mega themes of stable coins. We know the mega themes of tokenization. We know the mega themes of AI. What are we seeing in the CoinGecko? AI and digital ID. What do we see in Bitmine? AI and digital ID, right? Get that? But they need a distribution level, right? So they got Mr. Beast. See how it's all fitting together, all the pieces of the puzzle? And then, of course, you got these high flyers with the high revenue models, stable coins earning big money. It's harder to get into, though, right? USDC, USDT, they're dominating. We're seeing the banks coming in now, the major banks trying to compete with those, right? Because it's so lucrative. And then, of course, we've got now the big markets with prediction outcome markets and, of course, perpetuals. And that's the big play right now. Who do we see coming into that on Pulse Chain? LibertySwap, right? So they're coming in on the back of that too, and they're bringing them out pretty fast, pretty early on, relatively speaking, compared to some of these. Remember Hyperliquid with the perpetuals only since October last year. So really it's not that long. What's it, 9 months? So it's still relatively early. And a build out, and every single month they've increased their volumes. Obviously, they're the big player with big capital coming in. These other ones are rising stars, and there will be a difference between market caps and capital flows. They won't always be equal. So a small market cap won't necessarily mean you'll get bigger returns relative to the the volume and profits going in. But that's what people will speculate in on. Light's a good example of that, right? Also, there's security differences between Hyperliquid and Light. Light's a lot easier to transfer into ETH. Whereas a little bit of question more about Hyperliquid. So there's always that side of things as well to consider. But big deal. So look out for that this week. Big deal. All right, so let's get to Pulse Chain, guys. How are we doing? We're 45 minutes on the hour, which is not too bad at all. We've got a great audience watching right now, which means if you're watching on X, smash the repost button. It's that simple. Just hit those little repost button and share it around to your followers. If you love the content, we're giving all the insights into the big crypto theme right now, and covering Bitcoin and Ethereum, all the DATs. We do the ETFs, we do all the other major stuff, and then we're also getting into Pulse Chain as well, covering where Pulse Chain is at. So Pulse Chain, of course, is a full system stake fork of Ethereum, based on the 10th of May 2023. It went live a couple of days later, 13th of May 2023. Had a big revolutionary sacrifice process. And of course, it's had the SEC against it, defeated the SEC, very important that, but is now in price discovery, trying to find the bottom. We've had a very well-known supporter of Pulse Chain, who used to promote big time as a giant hex whale and seems to have exiting at the bottom, sucking out a lot of the liquid. We already had thin liquidity, but sucking out even more liquidity there. And so we've got all that happening. Now, that being said, even though selling down the old hex, we've had really good bridge flows over the last 3 days, over $500,000 net flows. So that's been kind of good. We're going to get an update on today's one. But it's not all bad, but price discovery is in play. And you can raise a lot of questions why they do certain things. And of course, we saw PZN be the beneficiary, at least of a bit of that capital yesterday. So let's see where all heads goes. The drama never ends, but there's always opportunity for those that want to, if you buy the bottom, it's like, cool, I finally got the bottom of the bottom. Where was the bottom? Well, we had to wait 3 years for it, but you finally got it. That's the kind of idea. Anyway, so Pulse at the moment is at, let me just see, I'm supposed to open up the Pulse chart here, so let me just do that quickly. We'll open that up and pull it over. And I'm going to reset that too. And let's go to look for Pulse chart. I was supposed to have this open already, but due to our sponsor. No, just kidding. So let's go. So I'm going to laugh about this because this is kind of funny. I know we're down at the bottom of Pulse. It's not funny seeing portfolio values go down. I'm not laughing at that at all. But I'm laughing at the fact that we talked about the price chart if we did go down to a bear scenario. And what did we have happen? So we had the Bitcoin retrace was severe, right? So 18% plus 20%, and so that has Pulse Chain eventually capitulated to that, and then we've had some whale maybe doing some rotation. We'll see where they head, but certainly a weird kind of decision to sell at that stage. It's weird in the sense that you don't rotate into the majors, which you would consider cheaper, right? So we've got the rotation risk, risk there when it happens, because obviously if ETH comes down 1,500, people go, oh, I'm just going to rotate into that and just follow ETH back up. That's kind of the idea. That's what we mean by rotation there. But actually, they put some stuff in the PZN, so question mark there. You can decide yourself whether it's a good idea where we're going there. But let's get the Pulse. Pulse at the moment is at 5,500. Now, why did I laugh at that? Not the fact that portfolio is down. It's not funny, but I laughed at it because I talked about the bear scenario. And I said some people were saying that we have to go down to 5,500. Well, here we are on the bear scenario at 5,500, and it was Bitcoin catalyst, an extreme event that took us down essentially, and of course whales, reacting into that context, right? So that's where we are right now, and liquidity is pretty thin on the old Pulse Chain, so we're going to look at that today. So 5,500 is where we got that bear scenario. We tried to fight. And I'm going to talk about that with the Pulse Chain chart when we go up there and finish off that commentary. But there we are, 5 zeros, 5,500. The ability at the moment is insane. I'm going to hold all that comment away. But we're down 8% today on Pulse. Pretty severe. And we always say T+1, right? So we have the Bitcoin event, and then we have a delay on the old Pulse Chain. Sometimes we see that. And it's also on the way, not only on the way down, but also on the way up. So we had a couple-day delay. And then, of course, Pulse Chain started following a Bitcoin on the downside, and then now we have obviously the hex whale and we've got this carnage going on. So talking about Hex Whale, well, we've got Hex down at the moment, 17.5%. OMG, is pretty crazy. And we're at 0007 now. So we're holding essentially around 1100 to 1200 of a penny for ages, and now we're down at 7 thousandths of a penny. So it's pretty crazy, guys. Down 7.5%. Now people are questioning the value of Hex relative to all the yield products around, and I think that's a fair critique. Now we know what the bullish catalyst is, that there's a lot of people know about Hex. Hex was one of the 5 top coins last bull market, but now there's millions of coins and there's a lot of advanced yield products out in the market, and a lot of utility and infrastructure is a lot different than it used to be with cross chain. Remember chains back in 21, it was very risky just swapping chains, and now it's a dime a dozen. You can do it pretty easy, pretty safely for the most part everywhere, right? So the world's changed in terms of liquidity flows. It's changed in terms of DeFi yield offerings. So it's a complete game changer, right? And so without a price re-rate on Hex, which could happen, I mean, it could happen. You get the Hex bought up by a lot of players, and it gets an uptrend, then the yield will go up, right? So this is kind of the play, and that's regardless of the fact that we have this beautiful T-share mechanism, which they spend a lot of time, perfecting. Kyle the Dev, remember Kyle the Dev? So that is the play, down 7.5%. Pretty dramatic stuff for the old Hex there. ProveX at the moment down 4.7% at 4031. And of course, that is the new one from Richard Hart. And of course, that's peer-to-peer technology. And we'll see where that goes. And of course, recently had some upgrades there around digital ID as well, right? So we've got Pulse at the moment down 11.3% at 504. I'm not sure exactly where the decimal is on that, but we'll look at it later. Incentive token is at 24 cents, down 9.5%. I'm not a big fan of Inc, despite third-party support for that project with yield. But I think a couple of whales have got that, and if they're not selling it down, they're stuck with it, right? They're stuck with it, and so that's pretty much it. All right, so that is where we are on the charts. Let's go have a look at the validators. Obviously, Rack and Michelle's talked about doing another 3,000 validators. We don't see that yet. We're still at 49,250. I believe that 2,000 of those are his at least, and he potentially is going up to 3,000. We'll see what happens when that plays. That should move up by 3,000. Let's see if it goes to 52. But that is where we are right now, and that's supporting of their Coin Mafia project, right? Let's go to gas prices. Gas prices are 543,000 beats, pretty normal, pretty low end. We were there a lot of the times. We have had that's 81 pulse per swap, sitting at 0.00045 US cents there to do a swap. Pretty cheap. We got the bridge. This is the key one we've been looking at. We're down at 47.75 million, despite the positive $500,000 inflows, because obviously we've had a lot of changes going on here. But we have I think we had the bottom just down here a bit earlier. Yeah, so we're at 47.59. We're at 47.75 on the old chain. Let's see what the flows. Net flows still positive. 100 million there, 650 million in, 547k out, and that's 102 on the last update. What have we got saying here? We got USDC coming in, 389,000. Wrapped ETH, 122. Hex coming in, 89. Leaving was Wrapped ETH, and presumably that is possibly Conrad or something like that. I haven't looked at the updates today for Crypto Solve, so we might go check those out. Pulse Chain Stats been talking about it as well. Hey, Derek, welcome to the Rhinify team in house. Hey, all. Big, awesome to see you in here. If you guys haven't checked out Rhinify, go check it out with their 28-day recharge cycle and their bullish buy and burn treasury. Also, it's well supported in the Emmett and True Farms as well. So big shout there to good old Derek in the house. Let's jump over to that's pretty much it. We're going to quickly look at the liquidity pools because obviously with the whales exiting Hex and all that, let's see where they land right now. These are the top tiers. They don't include all the network of pools tied in, but the main ones. So we know that this one here is Hex. Hex has got 6 pairs, right? Trading pairs here. These are the main pairs, and the grand total is 700,000 liquidity on PHEX. OMG, has that changed? That is dramatic. And talking about dramatic, we got Rhinify now there with the super sticker. Appreciate that. Very, very cool. So a $10 super sticker there from Rhinify. Thank you very much, sir. And I guess we've got to give that a round of applause as well. You're right. So Rhinify in the house. Check it out, guys. All right. So kind of cool. Let's jump into the mix here. So yeah, wow, $700,000 liquidity on the old main peers. Oh my God. So yeah, whale can come in. So when you do get priced, a whole ton of hex dumped in, it can be redistributed, right? So maybe one big whale sells it, and another 100 come in and buy it all up. So we'll see. We'll see. Keep a lookout. It's certainly buy low, sell high. But you get traumatized. The market gets traumatized a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Maybe it's a couple of days before that happens. But certainly hex is cheap right now, super cheap, and the liquidity is super thin and can be moved back up by another big player. So we'll see what happens here. We're still here, says Derek. You are still here indeed, and ticking along there. That recharge system that you put in has worked very well for you, I think, during this time. All right, so let's move on. We're going to go down from PHEX to PulseX. PulseX is sitting still pretty handsome at 2.08 million, so that's pretty good. 7 main trading pairs there right now, so that's ticking away, the old PulseX. And I am a fan of PulseX. Obviously, small liquidity pools you can move. So PX you can move to the upside. It's only 700k liquidity, for goodness sake. It could be some big upside there for those people willing to take the punt on that. And of course, buy low, all that good stuff. And as long as the whale has finished, and we'll probably check that up later on. Here we're at 2.8. I think yesterday they had still about 660 million hex left. I think some people said that Conrad may have had 7 billion hex at the beginning, which is probably the reason why he was promoting it so much. And at 50 cents at the peak, 52 cents. That's a bit of money, right? It's a bit of money. So, what's that? 35, what's that? About $350 million, something like that. $350 billion, something like that. Pretty insane. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I think it's still worth, last year's state was still worth about 650, 700K or something. Yeah, something like that. And so we'll have that. We'll try and do a checkup on that later. PulseX 200 million. But the thing about PulseX, it's got all the fees and the volumes, right, turning over in the buy and burn. So that's longer term superiority there. But maybe in the short term, maybe the thin liquidity is the better play. So it's something people have to decide. We've got ProveX, of course, sitting at 1.24 million. Not really too surprised there. The main 4 peers. Obviously, there's a lot of teams that have paired up with ProveX. A lot of DeFi that's launched. A lot of printers launched there, particularly some of the big ones there we've talked about recently. Ink token, I don't really see much of a future for Ink token unless the Master Chief contract or something like that happens for it. Otherwise, I'm kind of not a big fan. I think it's pretty much dead after the yield was shut down. But we'll see. Maybe the market will make a fool of me. But it just really doesn't have a lot of the features, I think, apart from thin liquidity. And the whales in there, maybe they have to pump it up to get new capital in there, and so they can sell down on them. I mean, that's kind of the idea at the moment. So we'll see. But anyway, 975K on the old Ink, and does have 30-party support, but it's relatively small, I think, compared to the value. Pulse there at the moment sitting at 2.47 million, and so that's got the biggest liquidity as one would reasonably expect. So the Pulse on the move there, and of course Pulse at that low at the moment at 55, which we're going to look at. But before we look at Pulse chart, let's go to the 24-hour volumes and see what is hot. This is obviously something I'm enjoying talking about because I think this liquidity and 24-hour turnover, watching these trends is very important for the underlying health of the chain. Obviously, can't help much when a whale's draining liquidity, and they've just basically got to exit at the bottom, and hopefully the liquidity's so thin, there's only one way to go right after that. It's up, right? Because we've still got like 10,000 people interacting with Pulse Chain. So it seems like it's very hard that the chain would die and that it would only go back up, right? And obviously there's a lot of other bullish catalysts around Pulse Chain, but you get the idea. Once liquidity gets pretty thin, there's got to be at some point, there's only one way, and that's up, right? So I think we're getting pretty close to it, guys. I think we're pretty close. All right, so Pulse at the moment, the volume, 6.23 million. OMG, 6.23 million. Keep a reminder of that when we get to Dick Screener, but 6.23 million there. What does this mean? I've been following the DEXs. We've been following SwitchFi. We've been following Liberty pools. Obviously, we follow PulseX, 9mm, and of course, their Balancer fork, PHUX. It's the interesting thing is these guys are making a lot more money, all right? Even with because any volume matters, right? It's just total volume that matters, and you're earning money on total volume. So we've had a lot of big lift over last week, even with these sell-offs in the whale. We've actually these made more profitable our DEXs and DEX aggregators, right? More profitable, which is kind of cool to see. So we're going to check that out. That theme has been good for at least a week, right? PHEX 2.27 million volume OMG. Wrapped ETH from Ethereum there, 1.4 million, which is pretty impressive. Obviously, we've been transfers into that as well with the Hex wrapped ETH combo and the wrapped ETH leaving the chain that we saw in the chain analysis. I think that all goes together. And PulseX at the moment is 778,000 K. So PulseX number 4. So we've got 3 coins essentially, or 2 tokens and a coin, essentially doing, I guess wrapped ETH is a coin. So we've got 2 coins and a token there, all doing over $1 million. Pretty crazy. And if we add them together, what's that? 8, 9, almost $10 million just between those. PulseX at over $750,000. PDI, which has a number of DeFi and printers supporting it, including OG WebChef, is doing 733K. And obviously, LibertySwap's, I think, been benefiting from the volumes from PDI as well. And that is pretty much at 733, almost $750,000 today. Then we got Hex from EHEX there at 684K, ProveX at 353K, and Signum token 190. Wrapped Bitcoin, which is the Pulse chain fork, is 184K. Then we have Wrapped ETH at 168K at number 10. USDL at 161, and a Troper from James Maria at 160. Treasury Bull from James Maria at 100, just making it. So we got 13 coins over 100K. Very positive. I know it's down on the chart, but the volumes are very positive for the exchanges. That's where they make money, and the aggregators too, right? So kind of cool. I think we got like 3 principal aggregators, and we got 4 dexes, and I guess a balancer fork if you want to include that. It's kind of a bit more efficient, but that's kind of cool. Just under 100K is our good old friend Peacock from LibertySwap, sitting at 90K of volume right now. So that's kind of where we are on the markets there. And of course, we are waiting for some big moves there. Pretty interesting stuff, right? Pretty interesting stuff. And let's go to the Pulse chain chart. What a show this is turning into, man. Are you guys having fun? I'm having fun. Now, obviously, the chart's down, and there's an opportunity for people to buy. Massive amount of volume at the moment. And so at the moment, we've got a new all-time low in the charts. It is now 5 zeros, 54.12. We're currently at 55. People were saying, I'm not really going to believe Pulse chain's at the bottom until we hit 55. We're at 55 now. So that was the bearish scenario. We had done a good fight, though, with structural changes in the chart for 11 weeks. But, Bitcoin, that retrace, man, it's a severe retrace. And so what is it? Went from 82K all the way down, essentially all the way down to 59K. If you take all into account, particularly in the last week, went from 73.5 down to 59. That's a heavy weight, and Pulse chain succumbed to that. No surprise, right? Altcoins or altchains, doesn't really matter, and succumbed to that. And so it pushed us down. We lost the battle at 7,000 under that pressure, and down we've come to this new all-time low. So what was looking, more probable than not to the upside was taken down by the macro picture of crypto, and here we are down at 55. And then, of course, the whales, one whale in particular decides to do some pretty interesting stuff. I'm going to just leave it there, right? You can decide what you think of it. There we are at the bottom. Now, the RSI have been tricking along here on the weekly. It's the weekly candles, by the way, not daily. We have gone below oversold. We're at 28.77, which indicates that Pulse is a very good pickup just on this measure alone. And remember, RSI is a great indicator for oversold, overbought, but it is a kind of a lagged indicator. There are many better leading indicators out there. But this is still showing us that this is kind of in the zone on the weekly, which is kind of fairly long-term horizon that this is a good pickup. Now, where is the moving average? The 21 moving average on the weekly, which is kind of 21's typically a good trader view, is currently at 5 zeros 98.42, so just below 0001. So that is kind of where we are on the 21 moving average. The 50-week moving average there is sitting at 4 zeros 18.50, which, as you guys know, is Pulse chain breaking away from the mega downtrend if we get up to there over 1700, right? Which is that orange line there. So good zone for the bottom in. Is this it? The people that won 55, they've got it under great duress. So is it up from here? So we're going to have to watch this over the next few weeks. The same bullish things for the rest of crypto with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Will it play into a Pulse chain? And is it a good deal? Is it a good deal? People consider liquidity's thin. Is the Pulse chain ready to rise? RSI is certainly supportive of that, and we've got a big room in the house there. So we're going to move that and put that over there like that. So there we go. Like I said, hits oversold at 30. Well, it's down below that at 28. So we're going to have to say that now. We're going to put, I guess, 28.5, I think it was. So let's update our chart. That is the play right now. We'll move that over a little bit there. So it's nice and friendly. So that's the weekly. Let's go full chart on that. And you can see that is the pulse chain chart over the lifetime. And of course, what's that, 1,100 and what did I say, 23 days, I think it was. So yeah, to get out of the woods here, we have to get back to 1,200, ultimately up to 1,700, then come back, retest 1,200 and break away so that we get rid of this mega downtrend once and for all. And the bottom has got to be pretty close. Liquidity is pretty thin. We just looked at that. And we're going to check out CryptoSolve and Pulse Chain Stat, see what the whale has finished. It is, I think, the second largest whale outside the OA. And so, yeah, let's see where they head from here. I think they had about a billion X, and it's been a billion unload. So we're going to watch that, check that out in a minute. So that is the pulse chain chart. So is this it? Is this the bottom? Let's see. Let's see where this video becomes an archive. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. 55, so cheap right now. So during the sacrifice, you could pick up a billion at about 85 to 90,000 on average. You know, there's a multiplier there, but it's kind of a range of sacrifices. You can now pick up a billion for $5,558. So there we go. And the all-time low, $5,400. How the world has changed, right? How the world has changed, don't you think? That is pretty crazy. So yeah, I mean, even if it was 90, you divide that by 5.4, you're looking at 16.6 times more pulse that you could pick up now. Isn't that insane? Hey, look, you just inverse things, and you get you might not get the price, but you get the 16.6 on the volume. Right? Is that the way it works? Something like that. So pretty crazy. Well, let's move on into the total markets here. Wow. I got to play the magic trinkle here, but we're culminating here at the bottom. If this is the bottom video, and we've got the RSI there, and we can hold 55, and that is the bottom, then this whale is done. We're going to check if the whale's done, but if the whale's done, liquidity is thin. Is the market, is there more buyers than sellers? That is the question. And obviously, all the retail has been fighting these big whales, and I know a lot of the retail hates the whales, right? Whales can be good too. They can be supportive. We can get market makers, so look out for that. And of course, we've also got Richard out there, right? Richard's out there too. We've got the Hex Gold Whale right out there. We've got a few others. Now he's obviously, we saw one action from him recently, I think. But apart from that, it's anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. I remember ProveX when it launched. We got Richard posting at the same time the market maker came in. So you just never know, right? Just never know. That's always put that out as the magic variable on Pulse Chain. But nevertheless, maybe a market maker comes in on the other side of the whale selling down, right? So at the moment, we've got only a few coins on the top 100 trending. Before we get to that, though, let's get to the volume. 9.7 million. Woo-hoo-hoo! We were down at 2.7 to 3.3 million for days and weeks after weeks. And how could DEXs and aggregators make much money with that? Not much. I mean, it's a going concern, but still not much. So we're back up big time. We've enjoyed 5.7 million, I think it was yesterday. We're now at 9.7, I think. So we're up about 3 million. We've enjoyed a couple of days at 8.3 million, 8.5 million. So DEXs and aggregators, we've had two new DEXs launch. And boy, they're benefiting from this, right? They're benefiting from this because the timing is good, because volume is up. And market's down, but volume is up. And they don't care. They're agnostic, aren't they? Agnostic. Obviously, they generally want an uptrend because that's even more value. But in terms of the volume uplift at the bottom, this is a positive thing because they were only getting, trying to fight for volume at $2.3 million. So out of 9.7 million, let's have a look at PulseX. The number one DEX from Richard Hart, that is sitting at 7.8 million, right? So 7.8 million out of the 9.7. So there's about 1.9 million that is done by others. Let's see who else is getting it. 1.9. Well, 1.3 million. There's 9mm. So big payday there for 9mm. So there's only 600K to go around. Let's see where it's gone. SwitchX, 300 there. So what I say, 600, we've got 300. So we've got less than 300 on other things. Let's see what 9 inches got, even though, largely deprecated, almost 100,000. So we're down about 200K there. Uniswap at 37. So, maybe about 160K somewhere else. I don't know where that's all hidden, but that is the play. And of course, we have SwitchX5. So we have to bring up we're going to have to bring up Liberty Pools. So let's bring up Liberty Pools. So we're going to go to Liberty Swap here. We're doing the full show, man. You guys know we don't muck around here. We're going to get a full show here. We don't like to leave any stone unturned. But let's have a look here. So these guys, I don't have the volume. I've got to do it. I've got to kind of do it in a special way, I won't say. But anyway, I can do it. But we're waiting for the global stats from LibertySwap, so I don't have to do it the way that I normally do it, which is kind of, it's not manual, but it's semi-manual. But we got 23,000 in the top here. So they're definitely doing a lot of volume in here. I mean, you can just add that up. What's that? 30, 34, 54, let's say 64. 70, 80, what's that, 85, so it's probably doing well, just over 100K, maybe 110K. I mean, obviously didn't add all the peers, let's say 110K in volume. So that's pretty cool. Now, I don't think DexScreen is picking them up on this because it's not showing here at the moment. I don't know if LibertySwap's quite ready for them to pick it up potentially. But yeah, let's see what happens there with that. Now, I'm just going to quickly check some of the old ones here. They've got hardly anything on them anymore. But that's ticking away. So SwitchX has come into big time. SwitchX will be loving that. So let's quickly go to SwitchX and check them out as well, because I want to look at their volume before we get into the top 100, because there's not too much to say about top 100 except for maybe some good opportunities there. So let's go to SwitchX.fi. Let's launch the app. Let's go to the analytics and let's see how this is rock and rolling. So let's see what the total value locked is. Now that they've reduced the locking value, one might expect us to grow. It's not really growing at the moment, down 2%, 242,000. But the volume has been very friendly. So 311,000 up, 48% on yesterday. So, congratulations to Brandon on that. So that's kind of cool. Total volume now traded is 3.4 million, and it's been around for must be 25, 26 days, is it? I think it might be right. Let's go to the chart here. We've got a pretty good indicator. That was the 14th, wasn't it? What are we on now? We're not quite the 14th. So 5 days shy. So yeah, I mean, it's 3.5 weeks, is it? 3.5 weeks, something like that. So pretty cool. That's taken away on the volume. You can see the volume there picked up there. Look at that. So, Brandon will be very thankful for that, especially with TVL having come off the all-time high, right? So TVL was peaked out here at 411, and part of that's to do with the market, part of that's to do, I think, with the lock changes on the earning, but those have been reduced back, so it's open up for market again. It's a little bit. There's the one variable that I didn't really see happening. Maybe I didn't read in the white paper properly or something. But they're back up now again. So these are moving around. So yesterday they were down at 75% on the auto lock. Before that, they were back up at 95. So, that does impact TVL and expectations, despite the fact that this technology is fantastic. Automated vaults, moving your positions into high APRs. And you can see those APRs in the concentrated liquidity there. Beautiful, right? Beautiful. So that is really the height of the utility, and the distribution of tokens will take some time, maybe between 3 and 9 months is my guess, for that to play out in terms of the market price. All right, so that is kind of cool. Let's jump back to the top performers. So we're going to go back to all dexes, and we're going to hit 10 million. Fingers crossed. I don't know if it hit 10 million at all during the 24-hour period, but if it does hit it, that'd be pretty cool. Let's go to the top performers. So RHPP, a meme coin launched over the last month. That's up 68, 55%. And remember, most plays on Pulse Chain are retail plays. That being said, we've had a good day in the office with like 12, 13 coins doing over 100K, and we'll take that anytime. And of course, volume near 10 million. Kind of cool. And the cool thing is it's been relatively high over the last week, making it more profitable for dexes and aggregators. SCADA at number 3 from Nick's supply team, up 2.82%. But let's have a quick look at this RHPP meme. I haven't checked the security of it. It does seem okay. People are talking about it, but once again, that's not an endorsement in any way. We're only, of course, covering the markets here. Now, big pump yesterday. Someone came in and bought, maybe 15K or so across the peers. So a big move there. And the pulse ratio, have a look at that. Big pump there. Went all the way from 148 to 280. So big move on the old RHPP there. All right, a hedge. Is it a hedge? I'm not saying it's a hedge, guys, but certainly whenever the pulse ratio goes up, it's a hedge, isn't it, when pulse price is going down? Liberty there is at number 4, up 2.4%. So unbelievable. Yesterday was pretty bad. I think we had like 6 or 7 coins that were in the green in US dollar terms on the trending. That doesn't mean that there's not other coins obviously doing big gains. We saw PZN going up massive, right? But it fell off the board here. But the rest, everything else is in the red, in the red there. How much did we say Pulse was down? I'm just trying to remember now. Let me just pull up Pulse Chain stats. So Pulse Chain stats, and we're going to have one more look at the Pulse price here. Let's see, the daily there, down 7.6%. So, anything that is lower than 7.6% is doing not as well as Pulse, generally speaking. So 7.6 would be around here. So 40 coins are doing better than Pulse, Pulse down. And we can see some of those. Most top meme coin there, Ethos, one of the printers, DeFi reflection tokens, P-Mint there, the PDI project as well. Ethos is a PDI project too, isn't it? Where is it there? I thought, yeah, PDI. So yeah, two PDI projects there. And we got Vouch in there at the moment, our top validator, public validator, like Lido or Rocket Pool. That's up 6.5%. Top Hat from Crypto Coffee Time, the Peacock, 6.5%. Zendog there. So these are all doing better. Switch having a bit of a not as bad, only down 6%. So relatively holding up at half a penny as the bleed out stopped for a little bit. We'll see with the high locks. Maybe we've got used to that now. Less dumping going on. True Farm there is down 4.5%, sitting at 25 cents. Now, will True Farm bounce from here at 25? That's going to be a good question. Remember the SRE fund and other things going on there. It could be interesting. Top Hat there, of course, we talked about that. And Sourcon Mini Meal sitting at 3.6 cents. The food specialty food giant in Europe, down 2% right now. Liquid loans there as well. So that's kind of the ones that are beating Pulse. About 40 peers on the 100 trending. Let's have a look at everything else that's pretty much down. Let's have a look at the biggest, the ones that are bit down the most. I've got to be very careful my way I talk about these things. Sparta, one of the Hex derivative projects from Wendy's for Tendies. Hardly any Hex in it though. In the Treasury, down 33%. Hex, of course, down 19, 18, 90% there. We got Amiga there, which is earning ProveX. That is down 15%. So I don't think that's a ProveX. Double check. Always have to double check because there's so many of these now. Yeah, it's earning Hex. So it's a Hex derivative. So my bad. That wasn't ProveX. So earning Hex there, and that's down as well. So all the Hex derivatives and printers there are down. World's greatest PDI printer. It's been impressive, right, lately. I don't know why. It's a PDI, but it's down 13% today. 46 cents, boy. So yeah, you can earn a high yield on that thing. It was up to 22% at one point on the weekly. But the price, the underlying capital price fell from 89 down to 46. So even though you might have got 20%, 25% over that time, you're down 50% on your price. That's what I mean by risk, is that, yeah, it looked good at that time. But just even over the last 9 days, which you would have made it probably about 22% or something, or 20%, you'd be down 50% on your capital. So, if you're not buying at the bottom range on the old PDI printer, then you have risking your underlying capital basically. Now that being said, the volumes keep ticking over. Then you'll make that capital back in another week's time, possibly if it keeps up at 20%, or maybe another week and a half. So you see how this plays out. Now, if the volume dries up like we saw back here, then it's you might have to wait like several months or something. I mean, that's kind of how it works. It's a high risk, high reward type of play. So yeah, getting good entry on that is important relative to the volumes. But certainly it's picked up, and it's an interesting project, although high risk, high return. Mafia coin down 11% there at the moment. Dow token top meme coin down 10%. Let's see what else is here. Peacock sitting at the moment 8.4 cents, dragged down by Pulse, but the ratio I think is still okay. What's the ratio? 1540. So yeah, been a partial hedge in the Pulse ratio. Remember, all-time high is 2,000, so it's a 1,500, looking pretty good. And of course, LibertySwap, they're about to unleash top-tier protocols on Pulse chain. Pretty cool. Now we're at 118 minutes into the live, so we're going to go to about an hour and 30. We've got a lot of stuff to go though. We've got a big crowd watching, so I do appreciate that, guys. We're streaming on 3 YouTube channels and live on X. If you love the content every single day, covering all the hottest themes, so maybe too busy to study it, well, you get all the alpha here on the Crypto Night Show, the largest Pulse chain influencer doing daily shows over 6 years now. You guys know how to rock and roll, spread the word, and I think mad gains are coming. Now, we know what cycles are like. We get the psychology of the bottom, and we get the psychology of riding the wave up, and it only looks good over the next 18 to 24 months. as we head into this 10-year re-rate of the blockchain, where finance and money is coming over. You can see a lot of the evidences that I'm pointing out to you with tokenization, stablecoins, and AI agents is another area we're going to be talking a lot more about moving forward with AI. So that's going to be pretty cool. We already see those are the top movers on the old CoinGecko. And so we're going to be covering them in depth as well. Pulse Chain is going to get their decent amount of that because LibertySwap is leading the way, and it's going to be certainly stacking up as the juggernaut at the frontier of DeFi. Not just in one category, but it looks like they're going to have probably 20 categories that they're dominating on by the time we're said and done over the next year or so. So exciting times. Big launches planned for June and July. We've already seen the wallet, and that's getting upgraded all the time and integrated with the rest of the protocols. But also we've got Liberty Pool rolling out the yield protocol. Liberty Pools are out and they're ramping that up with capital and features coming down the line. More rewards, more incentives, etc., etc. So, but this week, they've got their Liberty. They got their Liberty. What am I going to say? They got their Liberty hypermarket. That's it. There's so many damn hypers out there. They got their hypermarket coming with Hyperliquid. So that is expected to launch this week. Now we're going to go through some of their updates here over the last couple of days. We are expecting their hypermarket based on Hyperliquid technology to launch this week ahead of the World Cup for soccer, or football as most of the world probably calls it. So that's coming up too. So let me just get into some of this. We've got some updates around the wallets. So let's do that. So we're going to get into here. I think this is the first update here. So they had the thing about batch transactions for the ZK wallet. So you can obviously, that is coming to the ZK wallet. Kind of cool. It's going to be useful for payrolls, team distributions, making private payments to multiple people at once, saving gas and time. So that's pretty bullish coming from that. And they're going to have a new batch unshield feature. So that's only going to be good for railgun balances. So that's coming to the wallet. Very cool. Feature rich, right? They said they got heaps of features, hundreds of features and incentives. Now, 7 hours ago, wrapped ETH to Pulse full range on LibertySwap V3. This is part of Liberty Pools that we just looked at earlier, paying 31% APR generated from real trading fees. And that is ticking away there as well. They've got the estimated APR here, 145, so a bit of a disconnect there. But they've got a 25%, 0.25, quarter percent pool fee set for this pool. You can go up to 1%, right, on the V3 here. Ticking away there as well. All right, so kind of cool. They are building that yield up. Let's scroll up here a little bit more as well. ZK Wallet, which is their wallet on X. Some sneak peeks from what ZKX Mobile will look like. A lot of people are after the mobile version, of course. It is coming very close indeed. All hardware wallets and EVM chains are supported. Isn't that beautiful? I can't wait for that. And there is a little bit of a sneak peek. Looks pretty streamlined, doesn't it? Looks pretty good. So got the nice little chart there. Got the time frame. Got your balance and pulse. You can send, deposit, shield, or bridge. Presumably, they're going to have the DEX swap and aggregator all integrated in here very soon. Obviously, they're bringing in their protocols into the wallet. So that means every single protocol DeFi that they pull in, it all earns fees for the most part. A couple, I think the aggregator is free at the moment, but I think they're going to put a fee on that. So all that stuff is, all of them are individual businesses, and now they're going to have further distribution, not just on Chrome on PC, but also in mobile and in other app stores. So you can see how the distribution will be. You bring all these different products that are making revenues, and then you're putting out on more distribution networks. You're getting them listed on more places, and so arguably you're just going to grow your revenue that way. So that's kind of pretty cool. Now, interesting question that leaves is what will they do in further promotion and further listings on top other places? We've already seen, getting involved with Ethereum and other chains, with some of the key players there getting listed and being part of foundations. But where are they going to do much in the promotion space as well to amplify that? The other area, of course, of promotions is referrals. We're suspecting that's going to start coming too, probably with hypermarkets this week. Could be the first referral we may see from a LibertySwap, which will amplify the volumes and the users, right? So this could really rate things up and therefore increase volume and fees. And so now you've got all these different DeFis all being pulled in, and they've got the rest of the DeFi map rolling out as they hook these all in, and they put that into the wallet as well. So you can sort of see distribution, promotion, amplification, referrals, and of course DeFi rollout with all the best stuff in the world coming into the play. It's you can see where they're kind of heading with all this, right? and that's hyper bullish for Pulse Chain. It's bringing some of the best products in the world to Pulse Chain. And of course, it's a multi-chain solution. So it's not just Pulse Chain, capital is flying. And of course, I always come back to the fact that I like the analogy that LibertySwap is a bridge, which means it's kind of like a river that crosses over with different streams to different other chains. And they're all flowing together, and all they're doing is putting a whole ton of the best DeFi businesses along that river, and they've got that capital flying in and out, and earning fees all day long. That's kind of the way I like to look at it. So pretty awesome, and we're excited about where these guys can head with this, right? And all while providing the best user experience, right? With the way they're setting us up. And I think this is pretty streamlined here on the old sneak peek from the wallet version. So kind of cool. Let's see what else. We're going to jump past the old hex there. We're going to pass through that as well. So kind of cool. 12 hours ago, they put this out as well around the wallet. So we are excited to announce deep integration of ZKX wallet with Liberty Private Swap and Liberty Shield. So obviously privacy is a big theme in crypto, probably more important than ever. Users can now shield, unshield, and swap privately as well. So yeah, we're getting the best of everything, right? Getting the best, you're getting all the best DeFi, and then adding in the privacy, which is a lot of people overlook, but they're also making it democratizing it, making it not just the big thing of big whales using, but actually that everybody can use with reasonable ease. No PhD required to use a railgun, and that is the democratization, right? Big deal. Everything is streamlined into a smooth, intuitive workflow with ZKX Mobile launching this month. This entire experience will soon be available on mobile as well. Privacy and railgun made easy with LibertySwap products. Isn't that cool? So let's look at the whole video. Kind of complete there. You can see the old privacy mode in gold. Swapping some USDC there between BNB and Pulse Chain. So they're just rolling through that. It's kind of cool. We've got their transaction proof, so real transparency with the disclosure. Obviously, there's a philosophical argument about machine code and sitting on the back, but apart from that, you could say that about every DApp, right? And there we go. It's been sent. So kind of cool. It's kind of cool, right? Very cool. That's how easy it was on privacy mode. And of course, did I see it? Did I see that? Did I see it on the move? No, I didn't see it. Didn't see it move. I didn't see it. It was invisible. It's invisible. No. All right, so you get the idea. That is pretty cool. All right, so that is some of the big updates. But as you guys know, these guys are rolling out hypermarket this week, which is an output prediction market, and of course it's based on hyper technology. Presumably, they get paid fees from the foundation for Hyperliquid. Obviously, Hyperliquid sitting at number 10 now, right? And also they will earn fees from the prediction market. Another DeFi business, popular, and of course bring the Pulse Chain, multi-chain, and more fees. So these fees are additive. They build up the treasury, they build up the buy and burn, they build up capital for further project investment. It's kind of cool seeing that. So, and these guys are very good at capital management. So very exciting. They're integrating all that. So yeah, that's launching this week. Keep a lookout, guys. It's going to be a big deal. And let's see what happens to the old peacock over time. At the moment, maybe the Pulse Chain community underappreciating the value play, and let's see what happens. Certainly, I don't see sell the news because the price is not up. Hasn't been for some time. It's been a little partial hedge at 1,500. Recently got to 1,600, but we'll see whether the people start to move because all those fees start adding up. You're earning $10,000 to $30,000 on each business, and they all add up. Suddenly you got a lot of buy pressure. So we'll keep a lookout for that. And the bigger the capital flows coming, that's going to be really exciting. Then you can scale that number by X's. So we're going to be modest and pragmatic and just watch this flow, but certainly it's premium, world-class premium stuff coming and being integrated into the LibertySwap ecosystem, expanding big time. All right, so that's kind of cool. And then, of course, July, they are bringing something I've been looking forward to for Pulse Chain. Pulse Chain is so good to have it, and that is the perpetual spot and perpetual markets, but specifically bringing stocks and commodity trading, not only multi-chain, but to Pulse Chain, and you'll be able to hold it in your wallet. Isn't that going to be exciting? And presumably more foundation fees. I don't know if that's part there, and more referrals. So if you guys want to earn referrals for these things, prediction outcome markets on Pulse Chain, and you want to earn referrals for it on potentially the perpetuals and stuff coming in, I think there's a minimum trading volume. So if LibertySwap does adopt a lot of the standard stuff from Hyperliquid around minimum trading volume, which I think is 10K, maybe do 100K 100 times, I don't know, whatever works for you. But you get that referral and you can start sending it around. and you help build Pulse Chain. Referrals are good as long as they're modest, and I think the fees are 10% share. I think if they're long as they're in that zone, then it's a great amplification potentially of volume and fees, and that makes Pulse Chain more valuable, and you bring more people. So it's actually a win across the board. I see no really bad things about that. Only all good. So keep a lookout for that. We'll see whether that's a surprise announcement. They haven't said anything about it, so don't hold me to it. But that's what's in the documentation in the Outlook, and that's how it operates. So let's see what happens there. But man, it could surprise. It could be a volume booster. Imagine 100, 500, 1,000 people, whatever it's going to be, start referring and getting capital. 1 times 5 equals times 1,000 times 5. It's 5,000 people. It's like crazy stuff. So we'll see how it goes. I don't want to get too front ahead of that, but certainly possibility is there, and it may be part of their announcements rolling out. Maybe not straight away, but maybe afterwards. We'll see whether it's coming this week. It's this week. Output prediction markets, very cool. Powered by Hyperliquid. Coming to Pulse Chain, multi-chain. Going to be exciting. More revenue, more volume, and these are big deals. And of course, remember that's on the back. They're doing things in a particular order, right? Have you noticed? So they're doing the wallet. Then they're doing the. So they've already done the dexes and the bridges and things like that. They're doing the wallet. They're doing the pools, right? The pools, building up the liquidity, and that's only going to get bigger. They're going to have a whole ton of incentives and other airdrops and meme coins and everything coming. And then now they're doing the perpetuals, the output prediction markets, more volume, more trade. Then they're doing the perpetuals and spot trading, commodities. See, it's all building on each other. I really love it. It's great. This is what you want to see. You want to see this stuff, man. This is where it's all at, and very, very cool. It also lifts the game for a lot of other. We've got a great number of talented devs in Pulse Chain, particularly the ones that deliver a lot and deliver often. They may get inspired by this, and they may get take over the next level there as well. So I can think of a couple of names on the top of my head, but maybe that drives even further value because we've got some very good world-class devs in the Pulse Chain. All right, so kind of cool. Let's jump over to the Monster Thread. We're way over time, 1 hour and 30. I was going to finish here, but we've got to cover the Monster Thread. The Monster Thread is out, guys. Number 57 weeks of the Holders Pulse Chain news. As you guys know, the Monster Thread is a publication of the Crypto Night Show. Comes out every week, and it's 57 weeks in a row now. Exciting. It gets somewhere between 35 and 50,000 views a week, and this is in a bear market, for goodness sake. But you imagine when a bull market comes, it's going to be exciting for Pulse Chain. It is coming. I am in that camp. I see, and I'm covering it all the time. I'm very confident it will come. Richard's take. Bitcoin news coverage, hypermarket launching, and monster moves. Now, I'm going to post that in the chat here. Now, if you're on X, you can see it on my main profile, but this is the Monster Thread. So let's post it on YouTube here. Monster Thread, number 57 weeks of the hottest Pulse Chain news, covering what all the cool people are doing, all the cool teams, and you get to see a lot of the best stuff happening. All right, so let me post that as well. Great to see Diamond Hands in the house. The Crypto Night Show, there we go. Monster Thread number 57 is hot. Spread around, hit the repost button, share it to new onboards, share it if you're busy, read it. It's got all the best stuff. We take great care in making sure that it has a lot of neutral news there that has a broad coverage. And so it's very exciting. Now, there are a lot of people that make comments on social media, but they're just opinions and stuff like that. That stuff really doesn't get put in there. Now, that's a lot of comments. There's a lot of stuff in that zone. This is really generally focused on some news, something relevant to Pulse Chain. It doesn't necessarily need to be a project. It can be, someone climbing a mountain that's in Pulse Chain. Maybe they climb Mount Everest. That's pretty cool. We love to see, a lot of great people stories that people are always doing things that might be taking the family out on a picnic and showing some photos, and they're excited about that, and they send it out to the public. And so, that might get in there. So it just depends. We've had lots of different varied things, people, going along rivers, all sorts of stuff. So it just really depends on what's going on. But we do a pretty comprehensive survey of the Pulse Chain. So we got a pretty good data sense of what's going on. All right, so let's get into it. So Richard's take here. The editor-in-chief is the MBS Crypto. He is the Pulse Chain promotional lead as well. It is a professional publication, so we do have some sponsored posts and things like that in there, but it is regular. Every week comes out like clockwork. Very, very cool. So let's get into the news. We got check out Emmett Farm and True D Farm for the best farming options. If you haven't checked out Emmett and True D Farm, if you're after high yield DeFi income, those are the places to go. Really leading the way there. Pretty innovative, pretty sustainable there as well. Obviously, with the Pulse Chain pullback, a bit cheaper to get into, so looking pretty good there. If you want to earn EDI, you can buy Emmett or True Farm there and stake it and earn EDI. Or if you want to go for other yields earning Emmett, there's lots of other popular projects there using tokens there. So check out Emmett and True Farm there from Kairos, Daniel and Neil leading those projects. Now, the top story, of course, Richard Hart is the founder of Pulse Chain. So we always lead with Richard Hart. Richard Hart shared a Pulse Chain is better than Zcash. So if you haven't checked that out he posted that out. And of course, Zcash, they're having the bug exploit that got caught by AI, and they fixed that pretty early on. But he got 43,000 views on that commentary. And of course, Pulse Chain is better than that because Pulse Chain is pretty battle tested, right? And just ticking over just like Ethereum. And of course, as he says here, I think there's a great summary. But Pulse Chain is safe as software. Ethereum is Pulse Chain's testnet, and it's a wonderful testnet. I love that. I think that does categorize it. Remember, we're going to get all the upgrades from Ethereum. And of course, the Ethereum Foundation is focused on enhancing the decentralization and privacy and quantum protection for the chain. And of course, we're going to get all that for free, right? All that for free. So it's pretty cool. And Pulse Chain does have superior EIP 5.9 burning, etc., and inflation, and blocks there. So pretty cool block time. So I like that. That's pretty neat there. All right, so that is the old chain there. Now, we also had some this kind of was pretty surprising. We had Bitcoin News, guys. Bitcoin News has got 3.2 million followers, and they released a video on Richard Hart highlighting Pulse Chain as one of the most loyal communities in crypto. Well, surely it is, but they did a big video there. You can see it there, and that has reached 109,000 people. So, Pulse Chain price is finding the bottom. We've got certain variables making it happen. Obviously, the big black Bitcoin correction, and of course, a big whale, hex whale at the moment. And will 5,500 be the bottom? Will that be the case after we had these extreme events and liquidity is pretty thin? But on the meantime, we're getting a lot of people seeing Pulse Chain, right? And so when Pulse Chain does get a bit of reversal, does find that bottom and does an uptrend, a lot of these people will go, whoa, I know Pulse Chain. It's green candles. Oh, wow, I got to get on that. Maybe something like that. So that's kind of the idea. And so, yeah, another 110,000 people with a new audience here with Bitcoin.com getting to see the old Pulse Chain. So kind of cool. And Richard Hart, of course, very, very cool. And you can see Hex and Pulse Chain is right in front there. Pretty cool. Love him or hate him, nobody ignores Richard Hart. And of course, what we argued that he's, he is definitely the rebel crypto founder, but he's definitely the DeFi king, all right? Because he has proposed DeFi privacy. It's very important. And we've seen Vitalik and the Ethereum guys get a little bit distracted with second layer stuff, lose value, and now they're coming back to the very principles that Richard Hart's talked about for ages. And hey, look, no one is better than Richard. That's called out all those catastrophes that we had in the crypto market with FTX and many others that went down. Richard called essentially all of them, all the big ones. He called before they even happened, and that some of those CEOs from those ones that went down with billions of dollars was calling him out, and yet he's still here. He might be having to hide from the Interpol for a little bit longer, but he's essentially here. And working hard, as he said last year in his video. So we're going to keep on to that and wait for things to turn around and watch this chess game being played. We also see that the no expectations address accumulating more as well. So there are certainly things happening in the background on Pulse Chain. We've seen an ink token inflation cut. Lots of things are happening just slowly, one thing at a time. And when ETH recovers, I'm sure that's going to give the Magic Cup ride a lot of power. And so look out for that. We're going to look at non-ETH chess moves from Richard as well. They're also very important. All right, so let's move on here. We also saw updates to ApproveX, didn't we, with the old ID the other day. So things are on the move, guys. Just be patient and let the master work there. Let the master work. Hypermarket launch. Now, I'm extremely excited for this because this is bringing the best of the world to Pulse Chain, and they're going to be rolling out the new protocol this week. Liberty Hypermarket is launching ahead of the World Cup. Users will be able to place bets on virtually anything, including World Cup outcomes, liquidity, and technology are powered by Hyperliquid. But remember also that LibertySwap is a bridge and multi-chain bridge. So you got a lot of cool things happening here. Very cool. Excited about that. And they'll be earning fees from Hyperliquid Foundation as well as from the protocol itself. And we may very well see these referral codes too coming with these new products coming out in June and July. of course, with the prediction and perpetuals coming. Going to be pretty exciting. Tools for crypto, tool for builders, a crypto coffee. Arguably our largest pulse chain influencer shared a pulse highlighting Hypermid, a cross-chain bridge API, opening up new opportunities for pulse chain builders. So we're getting more technology underlaid on pulse chain to expand. Very cool. So some of the builders will probably pick up on that. Very, very cool. And of course, a big player behind that is one of our other bridges, right? Which is Ramp Now. Very cool. Going to probably be using some of that too. The Crypto Coffee posting about that. Now, Hypermid says, if you actually care about Pulse Chain, stop asking why we don't have more products. Ask why more builders aren't building them. Everyone wants on Pulse Chain version of Pump.Fun. Everyone wants better wallets. And of course, we are getting a ton of good wallets coming. We've got Ramp Now, we've got Cabby Wallet from Alex McFurter, and of course, we've got LibertySwap. So, we're going to have at least a good, I don't know, probably a good half a dozen wallets at least in the blue chip range by the time it's all said and done. Better casinos, obviously we've got Morbius coming up in that space. We've got on-chain bet from Jacob on the move, probably coming up in the future. Jacob's been pretty quiet, but of course he's probably essentially, his Mafia essentially finished that game. And of course we can't wait for PUSD ALGO, but they're probably having to wait for ETH price to re-rally to re-rate the collateral. And we've got Signum Oracle coming in July, kind of cool, from good old Stu, right? Better payment apps. Well, definitely LibertySwap's in that role too with some of these satellite projects they're already doing a lot of payment stuff, commerciality with some of the Zero and others that are out there. So we keep a look out for that. Better everything. Yeah, well, better everything's always good. But nobody talks about the boring part. Imagine you're a developer, you have an idea. Now what? You need to use it from Ethereum, maybe Solana, Bitcoin, XRP. Obviously, LibertySwap's in that play, some of the other bridges. Now you're reading bridge docs, swap docs, SDK docs, integrating one thing breaks another. Weeks go by and you're still not shipped the actual project, the part of most people would never see, and so on. So they're coming, guys. They're coming down the line there. The truth is ecosystems don't grow up because they have communities. They grow because builders can ship. The easier it is to build, the more products get launched. The more products get launched, the more reasons people have to come. That's why Hypermid exists, not because Pulse Chain needs another logo, because builders need other tools. Don't take my word. Open ChatGPT, some of the AIs, and build me a cross-chain product on Pulse Chain. Try it with Hypermid there. So that's Hypermid. So let's have a quick look at it. Kind of cool. Cross-chain there, technology, right? Any token across any chain. So we could see some people using that. So kind of cool. Hypermid creates 36 bridges and 37 dexes across 90 blockchains to find the optimal cross-chain path for every swap. So there we go. Good for I guess dexagators and stuff, and across chain bridges. So we'll see where who picks that up. Very cool. Congratulations to them. All right, let's jump over into some of the other stuff there. The digital cage. Well, one of the satellite projects around LibertySwap is Zero Trust Network. We call them the quadfecta, remember? They're all doing a range of DeFi and crypto stuff, often very complementary to LibertySwap, no doubts, particularly around commerce and stuff. So and payment rails, very interesting that, isn't it? Published the digital cage. Why freedom looks dangerous to people who have never been free. Well, we know Pulse Chain. One of the characteristics of Pulse Chain is that it is the freedom chain. Love it or like it, Pulse Chain loves freedom, and so does Richard Hart, and so do we that are on Pulse Chain. So it was a cool little article from them. You can go check it out on the old Zero Trusts. There we are. They're writing a number of news items there, and they, of course, kind of do one of the bigger news platforms on Pulse Chain. Liberty and functionality on the weekly DeFi X Spaces hosted by Neil and True DeFi. Now, True DeFi, of course, has bought what I call managed funds to Pulse Chain with the SRE fund and the 2x Pulse miners. Well, they're doing the DeFi X Spaces, and this is building scope here. So if you want to find out some of the hottest DeFi projects on Pulse Chain, it's good to go to these X Spaces. And in this particular one, they had Gabriel from Open Info Service. So Open Info Service there is a CTO for decentralized mesh router company. He shared a heartfelt message on why so many people came to Pulse Chain, and that's basically that they enjoyed Richard's truth telling, right? Richard was always going against the grain, always saying that DeFi is king, freedom's king, privacy is king. He kept harping on about that, and a lot of people weren't listening, but he's ended up being right about all of it, right? Centralized exchanges, we saw all the rug pulls, all the fails, right? And everyone said they were the main game, and they were the ones that got wrecked, right? So Richard did a lot of truth telling from those point of views, and of course, particularly focused on liberty and functionality, which Richard is delivering with things like PrevX and other things like that. So kind of cool. I thought that was pretty neat. You can check out the X Space there. We got Time is Money. Hexdex earns Pulse passively through hodling time token. I love these personal stories from Pulse Chain where people are earning, passively. And of course, he's holding the time dividend, which is part of the Internet Money Wallet. kind of a DEX aggregator out there, along with SwitchX and Liberty DEX, etc. So a lot of things out there. Proteus, Portal X, name it. Token is Internet Money Wallet. He also stakes Hex for 555 and DCAs regularly. So there's a nice person story there from HexDex. Let's check that out. And he's got a cool hat there. Look at that, proudly wearing his Internet Money shirt there. Kind of cool. All the best there, HexDex. Let's jump over to what else we got here. We got GoPulse domain transfer. Now, obviously, GoPulse was one of our big DeFi / swapping sites, as well as informational sites. So we've got about 3 or 4 big informational sites, and they basically swap their ownership of GoPulse domain over to LibertySwap. LibertySwap has made sort of a commitment to support the Go token with any fees on there. And of course, keep a lot of the information there. So GoPulse continues on, and of course, it's probably pretty well ranked with the old Google getting good views. So it's a good way of and getting new people to Pulse Chain. Ramp now, a wallet beta, official ramp now. Of course, another one of our top bridges, along with LibertySwap. This does a fiat gateway to virtually every country in the world, I think now. Through their official ramp now. So if you want to do a fiat gateway, it's one option for you to Pulse Chain. Now, they've got Ramp Now wallet is in heavy testing. So their wallet is coming, guys. And of course, they've got Hypermid API, cross-chain aggregator is in beta for cheaper swaps. So obviously, we talked about that a bit earlier, but that is kind of cool coming from them. And that was a response there, I think a response to me, one of my posts. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Appreciate the shout out. We're not sitting around waiting for big funding. We're building. Ramp Now wallet is heavy testing. Hypermid API is in beta for cheaper swaps. So kind of cool. The most important thing is we're here helping other builders ship on Pulse Chain, and that's pretty cool. So you can see, we're finding the bottom of Pulse Chain, but man, is it the builder class really positive, right? And these guys are key players in capital flows and, of course, utility offerings on Pulse Chain. So kind of cool. Hex Strategies Masterclass. And, we've got a couple of Hex quants. One of them is Crispy Man. Another one is Ben Sierra. They do the deep dives on Hex. Hex, of course, under pressure right now, but maybe the best buying opportunity you could imagine, having number 2 whale sell. Let's see. Crispy Man Hexfire dropped a video discussing 8 Hex strategies. Of course, coming yield curves, HTTs, and amplification. Well, those strategies probably just got better. It's probably just got better. The fact that you can get a low entry dramatically so. So we'll see where that goes. But that is from Crispy Man. You can go check that out. He's got a lot of cool stuff there on the old stream there.
You'd find a discounted HTT.
So get in all a deep dive on all these yield curves, HTTs, and amplifications. So and that's going to be even better at a lower entry on Hex. Surely that's going to be better. So kind of cool. Check out Crispy Man. Does a great job. Are NFTs dead? Now we haven't seen a lot of NFTs in the Monster thread because they kind of had a great launch for a couple of months. No one was really covering NFTs. I was really the only one covering them, as you guys remember. We had a few bad players, unfortunately, in NFT space. It was a bit of like the Wild West. And, of course, it was still bearish conditions, relatively speaking, better than where we are now on Pulse Chain in terms of price. But, it's NFTs can be fantastic. They can also be very risky, right? But we really haven't had a lot of NFTs sell out. I think we've had 1 or 2 here and there. But we did have ZK on Pulse. And, of course, this is Kairos from Emmett Farms. This guy's a legend, right? Leading the farming and DeFi community, one of the key players on Pulse Chain. He launched ZKP on Pulse, of course, where you earn ProveX, but they also launched the NFT, and they had a lot of Pulse Chain ranging there. Presumably, those NFTs are going to be used for other utilities. We'll keep a lookout for that. But they rocked the Pulse Chain community after selling out ZKP's collection. 1,500 NFTs sold and circa 3 billion Pulse traded so far. So they're pretty much sold out. So that's a while since we've seen at least an NFT collection that I'm aware of doing a sellout with utility. Now, that's pretty much done. You can buy it on the secondary market. We'll see what utility comes from that, those in the first place, but you can kind of see some of the images, I think, here as well. So we've got some of the cool images there. ZKP is sold out. So there we go. Pretty good on that one. Now, we got Noob episode 4. So if you guys remember the Pulse Chain show from, I think it was South America somewhere. I can't remember what country. But Noob Central has been releasing videos of that all cut up. So episode 4 is out, basically Bitcoin Beach reality TV show, the QR code challenge. And you can watch many of your favorites there, including a Wild SJ and others there. I think Woogie Gang's in there too. But they've got a 33-minute episode there. So if you're following that along, that is also in there. So big shout out to those guys. Chat with the boys, Fat Sammy, and of course, who's been doing an amazing job He's probably outside of the Pulse Chain, outside the Crypto Night show, and a few others, that do different formats. So I don't want to, confuse them. But RH Max has been probably the most regular, Pulse Chain influencers, and also covering Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other things out there, and Pulse Bitcoin, of course. And he's been doing a great job. Now, he went live with Triple Dad from the Magic Cup Ride team, and of course DeFi Nation, of course, who works behind the scenes with a lot of projects, including Emmet Farm. So a big shout out to Ben. They had an insightful chat about the Pulse Chain and the broader markets there. And I thought that was a really good collab. So you can see some of that there. Let's have a look at the
quiet Telegram rooms.
Let's see. Yeah, so see some of the lads there.
So we broke this.
See the three guys there as well. So, Fat Sammy, Triple Dad, and DeFi Nation there, going through charts and all sorts of stuff. So big shout out to them. Give him a follow because he's doing a great job there as well. All right. He's doing a great job. We got public DCA wallet, another people story on the monster thread, 29 Kings. And I'm really loving this stuff. Have you guys noticed we've seen a couple of people jump up to download, LibertySwap's ZKX wallet and just start building little portfolio. I've seen a big one too, but they start building profiles there on the ZK wallet, showing how it works and DCAing in, right? So he starts a new public DCA wallet using ZK wallet, joining the wave of Pulse Chain community members trying the new wallet. And of course, Crypto Coffee's got one as well. So it's kind of cool. I love that. So you can kind of see my first public DCA on Pulse Chain starts today with $200. Let the journey to glory begin. Well, if we're at the bottom, guys, then what a great time to start, right? What great time to start. And there's his portfolio from a couple of days ago. Probably down a little bit now for the Pulse, but he's only got a little. Has he got any Pulse in there? No, he hasn't. I don't think he's got any in there. So he's all right. He's probably all right most part there. But that's kind of cool. I love it. Isn't that great? 7th of June says, I said Friday, but got delayed. Didn't even realize Friday passed. I added $100. A millionaire status loading. This is the way, says LibertySwap. Soon everyone will start public DCA from Pulse Chain in the ZKX wallet. So that's kind of cool, right? Very cool. I like that story. That's another people's story there. ProveX updates. Pep Lord highlighted new updates on the ProveX website. Now with on-chain identity verification for the X Discord. That's what I said, like Richard's team's on the move. ProveX is getting upgraded, and now we've got digital ID getting in there, right? ID. Prove you own a Discord or handle. This is decentralized, right? On-chain using TLS Notario, and the gate verifies the TLS proof and records attestation on Pulse Chain. No extra steps needed. Not to have to scan your eye, guys, like good old WorldCoin. And Sam, was it? No, not Sam. I was going to say Sam Beckman-Fried, but it's Sam Altman, isn't it? Altman, yeah. So that's kind of cool. We got CowSwap Spaces. So we're getting some notoriety here, guys, interacting with some of the big capital flow platforms, CowSwap, and Funding Gym held a CowSwap multi-chain platform, X-Space, alongside Pulse Chain community, receiving direct feedback from CowSwap. Isn't that cool? CowSwap got 68,000 followers there. If you use CowSwap, it's kind of pretty good. We've got Nice. We never said no to Pulse Chain. I'm not quite sure what that's referring to, actually. That's the 23rd of April, but they haven't done anything since, guys, as far as I know. I think we were Crypto Coffee in there, is he? That's the 25th. Hey, CowSwap, we'd love your decks on Ethereum, yeah. So anyway, Gary Wood says, nice. This is only just the other day. So we'll see where that heads, but maybe they'll reactivate. I don't know. We'll find out. SoFi on Pulse Chain. Now, I thought we were going to have Love.io do some of this, right? We've had some little mini attempts at SoFi, but PulseX Fund, who was actually in the chat yesterday, funnily enough, said to check it out. He says a parody account here, but he says release the first social fi platform on Pulse Chain. Check it out. So I think it is, even from my extensive knowledge of covering, I'm pretty sure it is the potentially the first. It's a basic concept of it. But that is out at the moment, and you can see actually Execute, who does a lot of the X Spaces out there. We've got a number of probably up to half a dozen people that do X Spaces, does some of the bigger ones, the old Execute, and he's got his little profile in there. So it's kind of got the idea. You can sort of see the menu at the top there: terminals, trenches, dexes, alpha, portfolio, farm, V4, create, packages, leaderboard, etc. He's got a bit of a profile here from the looks of it, some portfolio. So yeah, there it is. He says, I love making dope tickers. I give almost 48 hours to bond. So that's kind of an example. I haven't been on it myself, but it is PLX Stocks Fund /terminal if you want to check it out. And that's in the Monster thread. So, maybe that will be the social platform. We will see. All right. We got honorable mentions, guys. So that's all the news. Honorable mentions are we had Heart with Dog. She is the green candle energy with the community. buy, guys. So obviously encouraging people pick up the dips. Green Candle Energy, you got to love Pulse of the Fallen series. If you haven't checked out that anime series, definitely check it out. Very, very cool. Hoddle Squeeze says, thanks, your friend Somi. Obviously, we talk about Crypto Coffee, but Somi also one of the top influencers on Pulse Chain and one of the most active. He has a particular format, right? So does a lot of infotainment, but is constantly producing content. He has, she's just giving a big shout out for his 7,400 videos. How about that? So a big shout out to Somi and doing a great job out there in his niche, right? His audience. So Ben Sierra there, one of our two quants. I talked about Crispy Man and Hex. Well, Ben Sierra is the other one. He does a lot of reports on Hex, but he also is launched, or at least got this other project called Sway. And so that is kind of a little bit like LibertySwap, probably a smaller version, doing prediction markets, right? So now you can bet on the FIFA World Cup with Sway token on Pulse Chain Easy Mode. And he's got the step-by-step there. Get a wallet, buy Pulse, swap wallet, and Sway. And then, of course, optional, you can then, I guess, connect the wallet into money and pick Sway as the output token. Step 4, see your Sway after swapping. You'll be able to add it manually or just view it on swaysavings.com. Step 5, place your bet on swaysavings.com. And then if you do win, I guess you can claim. So that's kind of the process there. I haven't used it, haven't checked it out, so you must do your own due diligence. But, Ben Sierra's one of our two quants in the old Hex. So, congratulations, all the best for that, Sway prediction market there on the site. Now, also we've got Tangent, obviously another OG in the space. Shouts out Pulsecon Store. Pulsecon Store obviously giving away tens of thousands of dollars of free t-shirts. Got a big backer for that too. But he's got his new project Wick, and they've got some merchandise now out of Pulsecon Store. So congratulations for that. I think we got a little picture. Yeah, it's a little picture of all that merch there for Tangent. And of course, I think he's associated with the Oranges there. So the Tang Gang and one of the leaders, I think, one of the leaders there. We got TB Dynamis, I guess it is. I've been bridging the Pulse Chain almost every day for weeks. I love this story. I love these people's stories. We've seen a number of them in the Monster Thread today. I've been bridging the Pulse Chain almost every day for weeks. LibertySwap replied, always moves like a second season and the market's steady instincts respect. So Timothy there constantly DCAing in for the win there. And of course, it's been around the bottom, so hopefully that works out. Now, the Monster Thread also has some of the hottest Pulse Chain projects, DeFi projects. And of course, Emmett Farm there is the largest farm on Pulse Chain. And of course, it's a way of stacking a lot of EDI and Emmett tokens, as well as many others in the pool. Also, you got the Pulse Chain cores. So if you haven't checked out, you're after the best farm. That's definitely incredible. Now, along with Emmett Farmers True DeFi, they've got a number of projects. So kind of they've got the 2x miners. They've got the SRE fund. The auction house there. That was a way of growing your bags, your Pulse bags. They do managed funds approach with that and push that value back in every single day back into paying, getting that 2x miners. But they also have the True Farm, and I believe they're expanding that option. So we're going to keep a tack on that. They are expanding their ecosystem. So I think that's got to be pretty close. So I don't want to say too much. I know a little bit, I guess, but we'll see what happens there. So keep a lookout for True Farm. And True Farm, of course, another top yield farm on Pulse Chain, powered with Emmett technology from Kairos. So great collab going on there, offering different yields. They basically have the revenue distribution service for the benefit of projects and individuals with that managed funds approach. And as far as I know, it's the only one of its type on Pulse Chain. And Daniel and Neil are leading that well-known Pulse Chain community leaders. We've got ZKP on Pulse from Kairos. So Kairos is in Emmett and Kairos and True Farm. So Kairos is everywhere, guys. I said Kairos is really a key driver of a lot of projects on Pulse Chain, and a lot of people may not know, but it's there. And hopefully, he's done a great job. He always tries to make very sustainable projects and offer really good yield opportunities. So big shout out to Kairos there. You can earn ProveX with the ZKP staking platform. He was the first mover outside the DEXs and DEX aggregators to get a ProveX yield pool. And of course, you can do that with ZK platform. And of course, ZKP has just sold out 1,500. So, you got to have a bit of community influence to do that. And he's definitely got that. So kind of cool. Now, the one thing about his Telegram group, if you do sign in there and get registered and you're active in there, you can get free crypto airdrops. And it's the only really Telegram that does it. So, and he's got a lot of cool bots and stuff that allocate. So definitely check that out. A lot of your popular tokens, they airdrop there. Kind of cool. Switch.win, which is from Brandon. Of course, Brandon's got a whole build-out company, builds many projects for many people. and of course, one of our top Pulse Chain, formerly Titanx influencers. He's got Switch.win, and of course, he is doing spot and limit orders. This is one of our Blue Dex aggregators. We've got others like Liberty Dex, PortalX, I guess, is doing a bit of volume. I haven't really seen much from that from the Power City guys. And then we've got, obviously, pretty active ones like Batias. There's a few others like Curve and Squirrel out there, smaller ones. But good half a dozen there, Dex aggregators. And, of course, Ramp now a bit involved in there too. So, spot and limit orders with top Dex aggregator Switch. It is a beautiful site. The product is fantastic. So big shout out to Brandon, because it is super smooth, and I've used it. It is very, very sleek there. Switch, don't swap, as he says. And of course, for those that want to do limit orders, you can see say they're back, but certainly under Kairos leadership, they're back. Under Kairos, they're there. And then we've got some of them. All right, so that's kind of the key play there on that. We're 2 hours on the live stream. Now, I was going to go through the post there. You can actually see the post. So if you want to go to my into my profile, you can see a lot of the top teams there. So let's just scroll down here quickly before I wrap up. Is the sound gone, is it? Is the sound gone? Seems it sounds okay. Let me go to the top here. Let me put that on. Bam. Maybe the sound has disappeared. Might have some issue with the internet. I don't know. Let me have a look. Let's see here. Oh no, we're down here. Let me pin that. Let me pin this. Bam. All right. I forgot to pin the live stream. Let's see if we got the. Oh no, we're down here. Oh no, it's fine. Pin that. Pin this. Bam. Maybe it's just your end there. That seems to be fine. All right, so let's scroll down here. I want to talk about, so we've got the Emmett post here. So Emmett's top farm, they've paid out 147,000 in EDI rewards. So, and you're earning really high APRs there. Emmett entry at the moment is a bit easier, so it's kind of cool. We've got another Jeff in there. Say welcome. Hey, if you guys are in here, Diamond Hand, it might just be your end, dude, because it looks fine on mine. It looks fine on you. Still streaming on X. I went out earlier, but it's back now. Oh, thank goodness for that. Yeah, we don't need any more rug shows. If you guys are out there, guys, we've got a big audience watching, so don't forget to smash the subscribe, hit the follow button if you're loving the content. We're giving all the alpha and having a great time. So the price Pulse Chain charts down. It's a good place for buying, and have we hit the bottom? That's the thing you have to decide, but certainly looking pretty positive there. The Hex whale might have been done, and maybe it's time. Liquidity is pretty thin. So will there be more buyers and sellers? That's the thing you got to answer yourself. We're going to quickly check on CryptoSolve as well. I know we're going into a long show here, but I just want to wrap things up, completeness, because it makes the show just of high value, as I'd say. Pulse Chain pools are on fire. You can check out Pump Tires pools, Pulse can store pools. Max Kane just dropped a really cool video. You can go check that out. That's at the bottom here. You can watch that here, and of course the high yields on the pool looking pretty juicy. So check out Emmett Farms. Kind of neat. I'm going to post that link there as well if you want to check that out. So it's Emmett Farms. Emmett Farms have been out around for over a year. $150,000 payout in EDI. Pretty awesome. That is it there. Kind of cool. Let's zoom in on that. So that's Emmett Farms. Check it out from Kairos, the man who's making a lot of moves. Let's see what else we got there. We also got ZK printers from Kairos as well. The first one where you can buy ZKP, stake it, and earn ProveX. They've already given out 1.2 billion in ProveX rewards. 434 million is still in the distribution, so you're going to get benefit from that, from staking. And they've already burned 40.5 million ZKP as well. Current staking APR is 111% at yesterday's print, and the TVL there 211K and climbing. So definitely well check that out. And of course, they just sold out their ZKP NFTs. Very cool, 1,500 of them. Very cool with that. I think they're all just over around about $1 million to $1.5 million or so, maybe 1.8 million for those at the time. The market price on the secondary market is trading, so you can check that out on Zero Knowledge Printer there. All right, so what else? Those are the links there for ZKP. Check it out there as well. Kind of cool. That is some of the headline numbers there from them. So check that out too. Let me just copy that in the chat there as well. So ZKP, earn ProveX, remember? So ProveX goes up. It's kind of a hedge earner as well. If we're at the bottom and then the only way is up, then it's good news. Good news, right? Kind of cool. That's why I like the cause. When I see reflection tokens or printed tokens doing Richard cause, I kind of feel like that's a good reasonable good hedge if you believe in the long term of Pulse Chain, as I do. So kind of cool. All right, what else we got going here? We've got this. It's the TKS one. We've got Switch as well. I talked about that. Now, you can save potentially, if you're doing like I know this is not generally retail books, so depending on what you're trading, but if you're doing $10,000, you can potentially trade, I think, somewhere between 10 and $100 using Switch as an aggregator. It gives you a saving on fees, and of course, you get potentially the best rate as well. So with the aggregation. But it's pretty cool. So switch.win, and of course recently they have tied in switch.x.fi, right? So this kind of work together. That's the AMM pool V4, and we covered that earlier, and that's Switch, and you can do your swaps and limit orders there. They got access to millions of cryptos. They just do Pulse Chain, Base Chain, Ethereum at the moment, so watch out for that. And of course, smart routing for minimal slippage, low fees, real-time price transparency, best execution. Is a very smooth system, by the way. Deep liquidity from top dexes, including SwitchFi, and of course, clean and secure interface for newbies and whales. Pretty easy. So check out switch.win. It is pretty amazing. It's from Brandon, of course, well-respected influencer and developer there, always working hard. And you can see a picture of him there, I think. And there he goes there. Let's have a look at Brandon. There he goes. Brandon, that's it. And look, he's just started streaming again. Did you guys know that? He's just started streaming again. I'm so excited about that. But look at this. He's down here. He's got a stream. Let's go find it. That's a stream. So Brandon is back, guys. He's back. Back again, like the Backstreet Boys, as I always say.
People take advantage.
And you can see him here with a couple of guests. Brandon is back, dropping the alpha. And this is so good to see one of our biggest Pulse Chain influencers. There were about 15. Of course, the Crypto Night Show is one of those. There were about 15 on the list. You guys remember the old spreadsheet list? And Brandon was one of them. And he's back streaming again. I'm so excited about that. He's launched some beautiful products with Switch and SwitchX5. And he has now started to stream, which just shows his long-term commitment as well. And he's got a big influence. Has a very smart guy. If anyone's the closest to my content, then it's probably Brandon's in terms of economic and financial analysis and stuff like that, along with probably Fat Sammy does a good job there too. And so it's great. Isn't it great to see him in the house there? So big shout out to Brandon there. Very cool. In fact, I might as well repost that because I haven't reposted that. So there is cool. That is coming in there from Switch. So I'm going to post you a link to this as well. It is one of our top DEX aggregators. Very cool. Now, Texan token. Now, I haven't looked at that for a while. I know that was a product that's been operating, but we will check that out actually another time. Good point. I forgot about that. That is a long-term DAO project relating to freedom in Texas, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that was right. So Switch DEX aggregator. Aggregator. Like Pulse Chain, it may be down like a lot of other assets at the moment. So let me come back down there. This is the link. Where's it there? Bam. So that's Switch, one of our top blue chip. I missed out the I in there, but one of our top DEX aggregators on Pulse Chain. Top 3 probably is where I put it out of the list. So there we go. That is Switch. I think that's kind of the highlights there. Oh yeah, we've also got True2x, which I didn't talk about in depth. So also 9B Pulse there. So yeah, True2x out there as well. They are doing this pretty awesome flywheel. They're basically doing managed funds, and basically you can go into the True2x and go into the auction, get good share rates. So that's key. You can ask a few people around that, and then of course go try and get a 2x miner. But definitely auctions, getting good share rates relative to 2x miners will get you there faster. Is basically the idea. So kind of cool. They've got the plan in there. You can read through this post. But 2x, they're basically doing a managed funds approach to get the 2x miners. They've got a lot of positions in the top farms in the single site staking, any EDI, both in Emmett Farm, True Farm, and they're in Vouch as well. And I think maybe one or two other projects. And they're about to expand their DeFi offering from True Farm, possibly do something else. I don't want to say too much, but that's coming too. And they're also running the X spaces on DeFi and Pulse Chain. So, there's a bit of a winning team there from True DeFi. Pretty cool stuff, and you can see some of the imagery there, branding from the team. Pretty cool. They've already distributed a lot of Pulse, 369 billion Pulse, and they've got the SRE Strategic Reserve Engine. It's got their managed fund approach, and they keep pushing back revenue back into the platform where you get your 2x miners. Basically the idea. Slowly over time, the system miners, they have a thing called system miners that take over the protocol slowly over time. So I want to get the team back on and get them to talk about that. So if you see the guys, they're everywhere,
And the solution and
everywhere but on the show, then let them know. Superman would be keen to get them to give us an update on how this approach to crypto is going, because it's something that I thought PulseChain needed for a long time. Kind of cool. So check it out. That is True DeFi. So that's our last big promo post as well, True DeFi. But they're doing an incredible job. So 2x miners and DeFi expansion there, and that's inside the monster thread. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. Bam, bam, bam. There we go. There we go. Where they go. Keep up the good work, Neil and Daniel. Kind of cool. I kind of combined the words there, Neil and Daniel together. Deal. Daniel and Neil. All right, don't tell them. Hashtag lovers. No, hashtag haters. I don't know. But anyway, so that is where we are right now on the old monster thread. Pretty awesome though, eh? And a big shout out to MVS Crypto. Works really hard every week on that, and both MVS and I have a true passion for PulseChain, but of course we also like to keep a bigger picture, keeping track of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the wider crypto markets as well as the stock market, and so you get a bit of everything, including all the major themes and major companies or crypto projects that are making moves, and it's great to be able to have some of these top teams that we talk about here, like Switch, like LibertySwap, like True DeFi, in the marketplace. So it's kind of cool. And we've got others coming, right? Fast Abdul coming with the liquidity fork with Vault 369. We've got a lot of projects being launched by Stu this month and next month with Tetra and Signum and many others. Very, very cool technology, front-end technology there. And also we've got big projects rolling out beyond that from a couple other players. So we'll talk about those as they come. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the show. 2 hours and 11 minutes. What's going on, guys? What is going on? But what a great show. What a great start to the week. We have going to have a very interesting week. We've got the CPI on Wednesday. We've got the SpaceX on Friday, both in terms of capital impacts and also tokenization going live with SpaceX, the first major IPO being traded. It's going to be exciting times. LibertySwap launching, Ondo launching, with their new tokenization and output prediction markets and perpetuals. It's a fun week ahead. It could be an up and down week. And then we've got the debt markets being targeted with Stretch by Thursday, Friday. How much money will it raise? A couple $1 billion by 20, 30,000 Bitcoin. And FOMO begins. And then 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, they might be buying $1 billion, $2 billion. So who knows? And it's going to suck all the Bitcoin out of the markets. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know how much is going to be OTC versus spot, but certainly it's going to be crazy, guys. Going to be crazy from now on, moving into that. Certainly July. We'll see what the impact of all the institutions does in terms of the index buying of SpaceX in July, but that's kind of the only hurdle there. And of course, the future IPOs for the AIs with their big demands on capital too. So a few moving variables there. But certainly AI and crypto looking like they're bullish in terms of building out the future of the intelligence age and finance. So that's kind of where I'm going to finish. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll catch you guys then. Big shout out to Brandon again, Daniel and Neil. These guys are doing a great job, and Kairos, of course, we're absolutely rocking on PulseChain during the bear market. And let's see, they're making a big contribution to the volumes as well in the marketplace that we're seeing at the moment. So onwards and upwards, eh? Catch you guys again tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. We're streaming on 3 YouTube channels: Crypto Night Show, Superman Crypto, and PulseChain X. We're also streaming on X Live. I think we add them all up. I think we've got a market reach of about 19,000 with an amplified reach of 70,000, including our publications. So if you're a project out there, you want to get some coverage, and you want regular coverage, because we're the only large PulseChain influencer doing regular live show coverage, then definitely on a daily basis, then hit us up, either MBS or myself. Big shout out to other streamers that are starting to pick up. We saw Brandon come back doing streaming. He might be doing, I don't know, once a week or something, but that's exciting. And of course, we've got Fat Sammy out there starting to do even more regular multi streams per week with some great guests. So he's doing a great job. Obviously, we've got other people out there that are still doing some content and live streams. I'm specifically talking about live streams as opposed to multiple contents like Somi and others. And so it's good to see a bit more live streams coming up there. Very, very exciting future. We've got our next, obviously the monster thread came out yesterday. So share that around. Really is important for onboarding. You guys play a big role. I mean, it's a network effect, right? And you bring new people into PulseJam. And the story is not the fact that PulseJam's down. The point is that people can buy the bottom. That's kind of the point. So if you're pretty comfortable with that, then what a great opportunity. And they'll thank you later. That's kind of the idea, right? If you're bullish about long-term play of PulseJam, as we're kind of showing, then that's definitely a good narrative there. The other thing is, I was going to quickly say, is that LibertySwap is really bringing an incredible ecosystem, along with many of these other top-tier projects, adding supportive value. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the future there. Hex, is it a good opportunity? You decide, but certainly liquidity is thin. Now, I can't finish the show. I just realized I was supposed to go check out CryptoSolve and PulseJam Sats to see if we got any follow-up on the Hex whale. So let's do that while we're here. Man, what a show this is turning out to be. Just when you think it's over, it's not. Just when you think it's over, it's not. It's not Groundhog's Day, but it's certainly a long day in the office. But we're covering some good stuff. So let's see what else we got going on here. We got a few more updates 6 hours ago. Let's see how we're going here. So good morning, he says. Good morning. Check the prices of this morning 7 hours ago. And then we've got a whale update here. So the Hex dumper has at least 690 million Hex, no EHEX left. This is 6 hours ago. Might be missing one or two smaller wallets from this mix, but this incorporates the bolster supply. So we can see that they had 619 million left, which is still pretty handsome, 460,000 there. Then we got another update here. How many hours ago? 5 hours ago. Whoops, 905 million Hex. So obviously extra Hex there. So still sitting on almost a billion Hex, 676K worth there. That was from CryptoSolve. Then we had 5 hours ago, people FOMO buy PZen. Obviously, we saw, I think, the wallet also buy some PZen yesterday. Got a 200-300% bump in it. After recent events go absolutely rinsed, there was lots of reporting that Conrad was pumping this coin, despite being zero evidence of that. So apparently that wasn't the case. It's a low liquid crap coin that some speculative FOMO, yeah. So PZen, of course, was Conrad's coin, and he used to be a big Hex proponent. Obviously had a big bag of it to promote, and then PZen, right? So, look, I think he does a fine show, but obviously people do their own thing in crypto, and that's DeFi, right? The freedom as well. So, it is what it is. That's basically it. It is what it is. And, they redistribute their coins, then someone's got to buy them up, and it's their opportunity and risk return. That's pretty much it. That's pretty simple, really. Let's go to PulseJam Stats as well. PulseJam Stats. See what they got any update on the Hex, on the old Hex whale there. What else there? Let's see. I'm trying to catch up here. Yeah, the big whale here. They said it's Conrad there. Obviously, the Hex chart going down. 8th of June, it's time to hand those resumes in, lads. Talking about the low value on Hex and there as well. I think that's it. So not much extra there. I'm not sure if anyone else has commented on it, but those were the two that were commenting there as well. Should we pull up the Hex chart? Let's do it. Come on, guys. This is not an infinite live stream, but we're going to pull up the Hex chart here. And talk about the volumes. Let's go to liquidity pools. We'll scroll down here to Hex. Have a look at the biggest one here. So it's definitely thinned out quite a bit. Let's go to the Hex pool here. I think I'm going to go this one here, the V2, and let's all look. So this is the chart right now. We'll take away our old fib calc here, but this is where we are, and this is the volume that's come in just into the main peer here. There's a couple of main peers, but as we said, the liquidity is down a lot. We're down 15 on the RSI, so it's definitely dramatically oversold on the daily. Let's see where we go. We're down 70% on the 24-hour. Boy, hasn't really recovered yet, has it? No other large players come in, or any players come in really to move it higher. I'm trying to find the bottom there. Where did it get to? 65. So let me just find that. 65. So we're down 43% in 3 days. 43% in 3 days. Let's take that all in. Pretty crazy. Apparently Conrad's the whale, and of course we're talking about a big player there, and capitulating at the market. Is this the capitulation? Is this the sign? This is the sign here. And so yeah, we did see a lot of ETH go out of the bridge. Fortunately, we had some decent stable coins come in, so it's been kind of cool. We might have a final look at Pulse alerts as well. So let's see where we go from here with the old HEX. Certainly, you're buying low here, or is it? Well, the RSI is indicating it's pretty good, but is it going to stay down a bit lower? We shall see. But certainly hasn't done a bit of a recovery yet. Normally, what you want to see is recovery to about at least 70% plus, and then slowly zigzag up. Right, that's a sign of more buyers than sellers. But at the moment, you've got this trauma in the chart, right? The trauma that we saw with the Bitcoin sellout for 5 days, that was trauma. Well, we got trauma now too, until a market maker comes in. Or at least a whole ton of people come in and move the price back up. So at the moment, pretty crazy. What's the upside from where we are now? Well, the upside, let's say to where we started. Let's say we started at 1100 of a penny, which is kind of where we were sort of defending. That's a 54% gain. So there we go. That's your return. Your risk, your risk at the moment. Well, I don't know. You can decide, but the RSI is pretty low. The downside down to where we were is about 8%. So it's a pretty good, what's that, 6x times risk return to return to risk. But of course, if it breaks down from there, we've still got a lot more HEX left, right? Apparently, 900 million HEX. So yeah, market's like, don't think so. I think I'll wait until the whale has finished. So yeah, whatever the whale's amount was there, I didn't actually go to check the whale's balance right now. That was 5 hours ago. And of course, we've seen over the last couple of hours. Let's look at that. The last couple of hours. We haven't really seen a lot of volume in there at the moment. So keep a tabs on that. If a whale's sitting on so many coins and has dumped some, then the market's just going to maybe just sit back and go, okay, let's wait and see what else you're going to dump, dude. Right. Now, the question is, does he keep a moon bag of HEX, couple 100 million HEX or something? We'll see. But this is more HEX. 900 million HEX is more HEX than, was it bank? What's the one bank one? I can't remember the bank one. You remember 800 million HEX was from the HEX Gold Whale or something. Bank HEX, was it? Bank HEX, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens on this zone. All right, so let's go to one more check here to finish off the show because we're trying to be comprehensive, but I got to check it. I got to do it. So let's go to PulseX here. We're having such a fun time today on the show. Even in the bear market, you can have fun, guys. But let's make sure we get to not PulseX, Pulse Alerts. And let's see what's going on here. So the last update here, we had 193 ETH here coming in. Now we've had some serious ETH coming in. So we had another 93 come in. I'm not sure what's happened to that, so I haven't done any analysis on that, but it is coming in there. 84, 89 here to comparison to Pulse. Now I'm not sure, is this LibertySwap related or something like that? I'm not really sure there. 59 ETH coming in. We've had a decent flow. I'm not sure what's happened to those flows, but it'd be worth checking out, right? So it'd be worth checking out. Let me know if anyone decides to do that. But that's definitely been flowing, and we definitely have had over the last 3 days over $500,000 flow based on Pulse Alerts numbers come in, right? So very interesting there, and nothing. We haven't got an update yet. So our last update was 16 hours. So in 8 hours' time, we'll get another bridge update based on Pulse Alerts there. And we'll see what that ends up being. Yeah, let's see. All right, so that's pretty much it. I think that's it for the show. We've got to finish. It's an hour and 22 minutes, almost 2.5 hours. What the heck? Oh, my goodness, we're having so much fun. All right, so we've covered it all, guys. We've got lots of cool things coming up this week. It's going to be basically the craziest week with the SpaceX coming up, but there's so many bullish things happening as well with the Stretch product and with the tokenization launches, including LibertySwap. Stay tuned, guys. It's going to be a fun week. And we'll bring it all to you. We'll cover it all and see how it all goes. All right, take care. Enjoy the show. Follow, subscribe, hit the repost on the show. And let's get going here. Daily live streams with the Crypto Night Show. Big shout out to MVS Crypto with the Monster Thread. Onwards and upwards, guys. It is going to be a fun time for the next 2 years. And maybe the bottom, very much bottom, is in. And the power law is being played out, right? The power law, we bounced off it. So hold on to your hat. Let's see where we go from here. Crypto's like that, right? So we have violent downs and we have violent ways up as well. So awesome stuff. All right, bye for now.